Okay. We are ready. For Stultifera Navis, part 4. Okay, those are EX stages. Can I buy something? Hopefully, this time around it's gonna be the finale. Finally. Because, oh boy, is it a long event. Yeah, I'm not gonna be buying anything yet. Medals. Can I get any medals, maybe? Okay, activate all of Little Handy, spending compasses, obtaining all rewards. There's 36 chest rewards, Jesus. Clearing everything with 3 stars. All stages in Dusty Picture Book in challenge mode. SNEX 5. Everything in mirror image, and SNEX 8 with 3-star rating while equipping at most 3 little handy components. So, right off the bat, I'm probably not gonna even attempt any of the EX stages or anything like particularly super hard. It is the first time this event is running, so it's gonna have a rerun. I'm gonna have a chance to obtain all of that. Spectre, Irene, Lumen, and Windflit. Okay, Lost Flagship. That's where we stopped. We stopped at the story. Did we go through the command hall? I'm not sure, actually. Yeah, we did. Okay. So, I forgot. There we go. I forgot to change from the intro screen. This is the brand new cutscene. Main bridge. The Seaborn never see their own as enemies. This is a behavior unique to humans. Observe. Pick up the pace. This Netherseed brand, what exactly is it? Though tiny and varying in form, these fluorescent life forms are also an extension of our kin. The prophet once said there's a part of the ocean where these glowing creatures fill the entire sea. They are the whole, and they shape the cradle of life for our kin. The Netherseed brand is just fragments of his will from tens of thousands of nautical miles away, washed in like the tide. Even a tiny amount will inevitably consume the land. Even a tiny amount will inevitably consume the land. It will turn the land into a new kind of ocean. Indeed. So Iberia was the first sacrifice for your plans, and Gran Faro is the next. Sacrifice? Surely you're using the wrong word. No. The Inquisition will take away my town, and this beautiful Netherseed brand will do the same. Either way, it's no longer our home. It'll lose its history, its golden years of explosive growth and vitality. Thiago, surely you don't mean... Jordi has been taken away as well. The ones who escaped have probably all been rounded up by the Penal Battalion by now. You're all murderers. Hello, monster. Screeches excitedly. Monster? Why would it show up here? Impossible, it was just on the west side of town. You lied to us, Thiago. And you too. Before becoming an Inquisition spy, I was just the daughter of an ordinary Gran Faro laborer. Don't underestimate our hatred. All the humiliation we've endured was just to take you all down. Of you lot and the Inquisition are nothing more than enemies trampling over our home. See for yourself what real destruction looks like. See for yourself what we saw back then. Thiago, get down! Ugh. Yeah, monster just attacks anything it sees, apparently. There's nothing left to tinker with. Everything else is out of power. All that remains is to see how long this lighthouse can hold out. The Nether brand has already reached this floor. I'll have to keep climbing higher. High Inquisitor. His arms have gone numb. The shape of the reef has already changed dramatically. The High Inquisitor spares no effort when annihilating all enemies in his sight. But his enemies are quite literally endless. His sword is corroded and he's expended his roll of explosives. Only the flame in his lantern burns it even brighter than before. Not once does Dario look behind him to the lighthouse he has defended from the beginning. He looks beyond the sea's horizon. Creatures of the sea, Iberia will not be destroyed by you. Humanity will not be destroyed by you. He hacks up the blood stuck in his throat. A metallic scent fills his nostrils. And I too will not be destroyed by you. That would make me more. That would take more than death. Be patient and wait here, Garcia. It's always boring waiting for a quarry to take the bait. Still remember the second time we went to hunt these monsters? We still had over 100 survivors back then. When we first set sail, the air was filled with cheering and salutes from the cannons. Those sounds still echo in our ears till this day. We bid farewell to the grand shore, carrying the legends of Aegir as we sprinted towards the depths. After a few days at sea, yes, only a few days, calamity struck. Grrrah, why did these stupid goddamn cells rob you of your language? How I wish to chat with you again rather than those stupid rancid idiots who took over 60 years to get here. Rubs Alfonso's hand in sorrow. Good day, Mr. Captain. Oh, we just happened to be short some bait. Fancy a dip, considering you're an Aegir after all. What? Already forgotten what I said? Either you leave or I toss you overboard. It's a miracle you survived. I never thought any Iberians would have made it after all this time. That's got nothing to do with you or with Iberia. After 60 years, the only thing I belong to is this ship. But let me give it a try, Skadi. How goes the hunt? Maybe my extremely cordial attitude has stoked a number of misunderstandings, but I can tell that the blood of monsters flows in your veins just like me. We're the same. You, us, and your chief mate too. Who gave you permission to talk about Garcia? Who gave you permission to look at my Garcia, you filthy Aegir mongrels? I never told you what Garcia used to be. You don't know if they were a man or a woman, tall or short, fat or skinny, perro or devil. I know that Garcia is my chief mate and my lover, and I will never reveal their former self to outsiders. We don't need your pity or a comparison to whatever image of us you might have from the past. Neither of us need any of that. What a joke. Hunters whose blood is mixed with that of their prey. Not even the ocean's waves can wash away your filth if you dare bury your fangs in front of us. Skadi's brows furrow into a frown. She rarely cares about what others have to say, especially land dwellers, but the words coming from the exception in front of her make her feel uncomfortable. The chief mate shoots a sharp glance at Skadi. It is a warning. But we need your help. What do you call these monsters again? See something? Oh, Seaborn. Okay, so why should we help you, Seaborn? Okay, so he just called them Seaborn. Do you know how many good lads lost their lives into the sea after the calamity? Hello, welcome to the stream. You float around on these waters and refuse to return to port, yet still insist that you're an enemy of the sea? Yep, that's my life. We are abyssal hunters. We come from Aegir, and while we can only guess how exactly you survived, we have nothing but respect for you. We also hope you'll understand that everything we do is to fight against those enemies. And I should care about what Aegir does, why? No, you misunderstand. Skadi shoots a glance at the spectre beside her. When she'd said, let me give it a try, Skadi thought she meant that she'd be better at negotiating. But throwing her weapon should absolutely not be a part of negotiations. Let me rephrase that. It's our job to slaughter them, and I happen to find that process rather enjoyable. Since you're only hunting for food, I can leave you some of the meat when I'm done. After all, I've never liked dealing with that nauseating stuff. You think pretty highly of yourselves, eh? Compared to the Victorians or Lithuanians. I've seen the way you kill Seaborn, you aren't worth a damn thing. Oh, don't get us wrong. Dealing with these low-level creatures we call sea terrors doesn't even count as combat for the second company. Gladia isn't exactly the stingy type either. I'm stronger than you. That's just an indisputable fact. My, let's not get ahead of ourselves, Mr. Chief Mate. Or Miss. Anyway, it's not your turn yet. Lay a finger on Garcia and you're dead. Oh, really? Since our captain's mission is to retrieve this ship and return to Aegir, we don't have the luxury of sitting around trying to convince you. This way has always been the more straightforward means of communication. The hunter's way? Ha! You've got a death wish. Oh, hello.
Kin, I've come for you. To hunt and consume is an important matter. You are not all kin, but I know you can still return to our kind. So I ask, what will you do?
Piss off. Oh, that's a nice scene. Ha! Now there's an easy way to prove that you're not a Seaborn. Kill it, unless you're unwilling to attack your kin. Then I sincerely hope that you won't drag me down. I'm more worried about you showing mercy to your twisted kin, Aegir. Then you worry over nothing. After all, if I really was on their side, you'd be dead already. So, once I prove I'm not one of them, are you willing to lend us your ship? Not a chance in hell. The ship belongs to me. That's too bad. Maybe if I help you lose that arm of yours during the battle, that'll wake up a part of your humanity? Chief Mate, stay back. Don't do anything. Let's see how much of a difference there is between us and these monsters claiming to be human. And a screenshot is taken. You two, Scaddy, don't snatch my mark. This hunt is mine, and I need to let off a little bit of steam. Is the next mission gonna be fighting not Garcia, the captain whose name I forgot? Not Breogan. Breogan was the architect. I already don't remember his name. Hunting must be done. Purpose: to mold the environment. You are rich in nutrients. That was a very short cutscene. I'm assuming because combat is to follow. Observation post. Indeed, SN8. Let's take a look at the details. Only a single blue box to defend. It does not fit in with its surroundings. Hand of the Saint bounces a hand of the Saint in the deploy direction, stunning. Yeah, we know that. No enemy info. But I'm assuming the captain is one of them. And what does it drop? Ooh, Orion cluster. That's gonna be worth farming. This team should probably do. La PJ. I might swap out Madrock. For who? Let's try Bubble. Why not? And J, do I need J? Or should I take someone else? I heard Stun is useful in those missions, so I'm wondering if maybe Cruz? Sure, I'm gonna grab Cruz. And let's see if this does the trick. I mean, I have Chalter here, so if Chalter doesn't do the trick, what will? Maybe Suitor. I do have Suitor, but she's not quite built. Someone's already trying to beeline for our positions. Let's try with Lappy. Thorns. First of the berries. Bubble in the front, and that should about cover us, I think. Cruise for the stun and additional damage. And another berry just to make sure. This one guy is tanky. Why are you tanky? Continually inflicts arts damage and nervous impairment. In an area around it has stats resistance and immune to slowing. Okay, but are you immune to fart? No, you're not immune to Fartooth. That's very good to know. Done. Simple enough. You're no longer necessary. And nobody seems to be dealing particularly much ranged damage, so I can just deploy Shelter without an issue. Okay, 5 more. Who's it gonna be? Oh, 2 more of those. Easy enough. Okay, Nethercy Brand. Now that's... well, maybe not an issue. I'd rather not have to deal with it. Can I clean it up? Like, completely. Don't think I can. Oh well, not like it's gonna matter particularly much. Yeah, just shelter them to death and that's it. Easy! Man, SN8 was harder, SN7 was harder than this. I spent so much time trying to beat SN7. Hey, you beat EX8! Congratulations! From what I heard, EX stages of this event are hell incarnate. And that means you probably already did better than me. Than I will, because I don't think I'm going to manage the EX stages. Maybe if I go to, like, I don't know, Kyostin V tutorials, then I might be able to clear it with a guide, but alone, I'm not sure. What happened? You're awake. I'm begging you, man, at least holler the next time something like this happens, alright? Pull another stunt like that and I won't be able to save you. How's the situation? With women's monsters? Have they all been burned away yet? I can't say for sure, but probably. I mean, I've only seen the full extent of monsters' firepower in tactical records before. Burn it. Burn it all. Grandfather is already a thing of the past. Just burn it all down. Mr. Thiago, you... Ah, traitor! And you, Iberian, I've got your sense. This is where you're hiding. You came at just the right time. Yes, just the right time. What are you? Ha! Already blind and beyond recognition. Serves him right for pleasuring himself with that monster. Serves you right, you hear me? Serves me right. It sure does, Thiago, for choosing to trust a man blinded by hatred, for ever having delusions that people like you could be saved. Serves me right indeed. But now everything is different. Bones grind and crunch together. Sea terrors? But when? Thiago, don't get too close. Something's wrong with this guy. Iberia must be destroyed. We will annihilate this country. This land will become the ocean's cradle. The waves shall swallow the clouds, and scores of mountains will dissolve without a sound. We shall all become one. Watch out, Thiago. Yeah. Thiago. He's already transforming into a monster, just like in the reports from Salviento. I'll start with you, traitor, for the perpetuation of life eternal Iberia is meaningless. Meaningless, you say? Are you calling for me by name, heretic? High Inquisitor, you made it just in time. Go ahead and pray. We will prove to you that this god is meaningless too. He will watch as Iberia sinks into the abyss. That will never happen. What? My name is Carmen I Iberia, or Carmen I Iberia. When the 9 saints gave themselves this false title, they abandoned their own names, and with it, their beliefs. We are immolated by lies. Nobody knows this better than us. God never offered salvation to Iberia. We must become our own gods. On behalf of the Inquisition, I hereby read your sentence, heretic. What is this heaviness I feel? My body has already been accepted by my kin. My life has already received sublimation. So why am I unable to take my eyes off his lantern? Self-preservation. Yes, all Inquisitors are quite powerful, so I am on guard. You may kill me, but you cannot kill our kind. Kill our kind and the sea will die. When the sea dies, the land will die with it. You will all eventually drown in the rising tide of evolution. You will not live to see the land's future. The era is bloated in discord, and we are all but livestock trapped in cages. I will put you and your Inquisition. What? He looks at his body in disbelief. A beautiful cross-section. Since their invasion of Gran Faro began, the old Inquisitor who sat at the town's chapel has never lifted his hand even once. He never wielded his sword or drew his hand cannon. He used only his lantern and his arts, befitting someone as ancient as him. Yes, ancient. He is very old, a span of time far too great for the ordinary life to endure. Land-crawling livestock, how did you? At least I was able to buy. You've accomplished nothing. A brand new life form yet unable to take the life of even this old Iberian. What do you have to be proud of? Look at me, heretic. You... damn you. You were once human too, but you narrow-mindedly misjudged the potential of your own race. For tens of thousands of years, this is how we have won our wars. Nature selects, life adapts. You and your pathetic ideas will be burned You and your pathetic ideas will be buried in Iberia before your last breath. Be sure to pass on our thunderous roar to your kin. The sea faces an ancient enemy called civilization, once you can stand no chance of overcoming. You understand nothing. How's he doing? I've been trying everything I could this whole time, but the wound's too deep. If only Dr. Kelsey were here. He needs medical attention immediately, sir. Where is she? Waiting in a chapel. I should make this clear, member of Rhodes Island. His treason is indefensible, and he must answer for his crimes. Knowingly sheltering the Church of the Deep Sculptist has caused the Inquisition to lose a prime opportunity. It has also placed Dario and countless of our brothers in the Penal Battalion in grave peril. Old fool. How old are you anyway? 100? How'd you... still pretend to have so much energy? It is my duty. So you must... know all sorts of things. Tell me, Inquisitor. Tell me the truth, you wretched executioner. Why would you... destroy a band of people hoping to rebuild their home? All of you. All of you. Don't speak, Thiago. I can't stop the bleeding. No, I must ask. All of you, the Inquisition, those eggs you took from Grandfather, were there really any cultists among them? Tell me, did you really, out of paranoia, nothing more than a laughable paranoia, kill all those good people? Ordinary citizens have no right to know the Inquisition's secrets. You bastard! Knowing the truth will not help you cling onto your fading life, Thiago. No, no, I'm begging you, I'm going to die and you still won't tell me the truth. At least, Marin, tell me. The files on Grandfather's Egger have been sealed. I am unable to disclose anything to a civilian. No. I curse you. I swear I'll never forgive you. Iberia. Well... His malediction never leaves his mouth. Old Thiago looks at the dim, damp ceiling where a drop of water is about to fall from the wooden beams. Drip. He's gone. So, what's the truth? I don't see how this has anything to do with either member of Rhodes Island. Return to Kelsey. We've lost too much time and the eye of Iberia will likely fall. Please, tell me. As a member of Rhodes Island, I also wish to cooperate with the Inquisition, but before that, I'm an Iberian. I didn't know Thiago for very long, but I just realized he would never curse Iberia because he truly saw this place as his home. But after realizing that, that's all the more reason I can't just... Lord Carmen, after witnessing so many tragedies in my homeland, surely you can't just tell me to turn a blind eye to it all. Carmen glances over at the aged laborer resting in Elysium's arms. His eyes betray a slightly different emotion. After a moment of silence, he speaks. Roughly 130 eggs were taken from Grandfather, and of them, about half had ties with the Church of the Deep. Even some members of the Penal Battalion formerly stationed in the town were revealed to be traitors. They stole a large amount of information on Iberia's seafaring era, obstructed the Inquisition, and were plotting from the very beginning to turn Grandfather into a nexus for the sea's invasion of the land. Leading them was a female bishop, an Aegir Islander, a woman the people called Marin. Oof. Okay. So, I guess not revealing the truth was a little bit of a, yeah, it was maybe a good thing that Thiago, in his last moments, didn't learn that his wife was leading the Church of the Deep. Perhaps it's better that Thiago died not knowing that. Now give him his burial. Strong. Work together and you are strong enough to lead our kind. But you do not plan to do this. This puzzles me. Our kind, how will you treat them? Willpower begets all. Any chasm can be crossed. Our environment, complete and pure. Impurities are not needed. About parents, I'm trying to find an answer. Yet the question is not clear. I cannot ask yet. Sound of bones grinding and rubbing. Oh, the sea's infants learn to talk as quickly as you. What's wrong, Mr. Captain? Has your loneliness finally compelled you to seek companionship with talking seaborns? You know, every wound on its body has been my handiwork so far. Spit. It's still alive and kicking. We're just getting to the good part. Fighting is meaningless. Leaving is the correct choice. Ah, get back here. It tore through the wall and fled. Why did the Iberians have to make this ship so complex anyway? I won't allow it to continue trashing my ship. Garcia! That's cheating, you know? How do you think we managed to keep this ship from getting riddled with holes and sinking while surrounded by monsters for all these years? Relying solely on Bregan's technology. We systematically kill the ones threatening enough to cause damage. Then, little by little, the survivors slowly sew up the scars they left behind. This one can be considered intelligent as far as they go, but it's by no means the strongest. I'm not in a mood to play games with you anymore, so this farce ends here. Kill it now before it does something we can't undo. The fleeing seaborn easily tears through the ship's walls. It can smell its skin as well as the ocean just outside the strange box. It is hurt, it needs healing, it needs nourishment, it needs time. The scaleless skin had bought it a chance to breathe, but far from enough time. Many preparations are yet to be completed. What? A seaborn? The seaborn does not speak, because it faces something that is not its kin. Not kin that speaks, not kin without scales. In which case, the small, fragile creature struggling before its eyes is just an ordinary life form, just another part of the cycle. It should be consumed. After coming to this conclusion, the seaborn almost immediately lashes out at Irene with tooth and claw. So fast. Its body is different from before? It's so tough? Merda, I can dodge it in this... I can dodge it... Merda, I can't dodge it this time. Roars. Eldritch noises. Stand up and run. You can talk in Iberian? I save you. Don't let him know. Don't let Alfonso know I'm still human. Language, you also know it. Efficiency, relatively low. Not enough information, not enough time. If necessary, I will complete it. Kindred, you have formed your own group, and your offspring consume one another. You are incomplete. Alfonso cannot get here fast. You run. Kindred, no point in nurturing. Flesh and blood, donate to us. Howling. Still attempting to spit out vestiges of human speech, the chief mate is punctured by the seaborn's fangs. It neither underestimates its enemy nor is distracted by Irene's presence. The seaborn's motions have clearly evolved. You, Alfonso, Harry. I can't even pierce its carapace. At this rate, Irene, you know where it is. Yes, it's the Inquisition's underground, where every High Inquisitor has seen the truth. The truth. Consider this one thing, Irene. What is the Inquisition fighting for? For Iberia's purity and virtue, for the sanctity of our laws and scriptures. But what if the concept of truth as seen by the people is only superficial? What if the law has no reach, the scriptures fail to prophesize, and the morality that governs all things amount to naught? What will you pass down judgment then? I will judge based on my own standards. Even if it means casting aside the distinction between good and evil that you've always adhered to. Of course. That is easier said than done, Irene. There's no point trying to teach from my example, and I'm not as partial towards words as you are. Maestro, but there will come a day when your enemies will force you to cast aside everything you've ever known. Your faith, your morals, your ethics. Everything will be ravaged, desecrated, rendered null and void. When that happens, if you can manage to rebuild your inner faith, whatever it may be, then that will form the foundation to help you defeat those enemies. Before seeing the truth, before experiencing a crueler history, everything that we do is empty, with no basis in reality. I won't tell you how you should act going forward, but when that time comes, I want you to remember my words, Irene. You must become Iberia's last line of defense. No, survival is not actually your goal. Perhaps you can become something greater. Oof. That goes hard. Irene should just go and study in Kivotos. Irene raises her hand cannon. second cavity suddenly appears in the Seaborn's adamantite body as a torrential flow of heat melts through its sturdy, unusual walls. Surging temperature turns the surroundings into a sea of fire. The chief mate sobs and retreats to the side, staring blankly at the scene before its eyes. The Seaborn has never been enveloped by such arts before. It feels a sense of being overwhelmed, but quickly adapts. However, the Inquisitor's barrage will not cease until the flames of her lantern sputter out. Release the chief mate, you monster, and get a good whiff of the scent of Originium. You have not sinned in any way. The Holy Scriptures do not even mention your existence. Right now, it is only I, as an Iberian, who is handing down this verdict. The scourge of the seas must be wiped out. You have no right to live. In the name of Iberia... In the name of Iberia...
結果さえ伴うならちょっと苦労するのも悪くないね。
Okay. Two more areas. Bridge access. For more than 60 years, for 20,000 days and nights, this ship has endured far too many storms, as well as matters of life and death. It will not sink, just as Iberia will not sink, and this is not a fact that requires explanation, so it must be, therefore it is. The white-haired captain gazes out the porthole to the part of the ocean that can no longer even be considered scenery. For the first few decades he spent a lot of time on the observation deck, hoping to get a glimpse of the land he once called home, even if no more than a small island. There was nothing. Nothing but water, a boundless expanse of water. It bored him, annoyed him, enraged him, and finally forced him to look away. Nothing would happen there, and it no longer had anything to do with his fate. For reasons unknown, the captain suddenly felt as if he had not seen enough of this nameless ocean. He decided that when this farce was all over, he and his chief mate would quietly watch the sunrise, just as they had done many, many years ago. Gangway. What is that? Oh, it allows me to like go between areas, I think. Is that what it is? Oh, we can get to the Nameless Ocean now. Okay, that's cool. But first we gotta complete everything. Drafting room. The drafting room was once used to aggregate the results of exploration and draft nautical charts. After the calamity, the entire ocean's currents, prevailing winds, and uncharted islands all underwent tremendous changes, rendering the laws formulated over generations completely meaningless. Some usable supplies can still be found here. A chandelier. And is that is 100% of the ship. What new things do we have here? Misty Silhouette. Castigation. Irene the Badass. Man, I can't get over the fact that I haven't gotten Irene yet. Slowly losing hope. Thankfully she's not limited, so she can still spook me. She can still potentially be in, like, I don't know, the third store or something, but still. Nameless Ocean. Main deck. On the main deck, the Nether brand is spreading. It mercilessly engulfs everything, irreversibly. This is how it survives, able to heal wounds left even by the passage of time. Oh, that's a lot. Okay, in order then. Mooring winch. Around the mooring winch are a large number of sea terrors curling up and degenerating, turning themselves into masses of nutrient-rich muscle fiber to offer up to their kin. Let's clear it out. They must be eliminated. This kind of evolution is an abomination. How would sociologists analyze the social constructs of the sea terrors and the seaborn? No, the scholars would only be able to throw their hands up in defeat, because human society is built on selfishness, morality, cowardice and bravery. Our ugliness has built the foundation for these flashes of greatness. However, this creature's understanding of kinship is beyond our comprehension. Humans extol martyrdom because it symbolizes morality, and because it is so rare. But sea terrors may well never see it from such an angle, labeling their choices neither virtue nor vice. They have only one goal. All of their actions are in service of that singular goal. They have no castes, no individual interests. They seek only to reach the endpoint of evolution. That is precisely why humans must fight them to the bitter end. Deck room. The unbearable past relentlessly chases him. The unfaceable future solemnly awaits him. We're gonna leave that for last. Starboard deck. The starboard deck is completely empty. Locate the seaboard. Bow deck. The bow deck is completely empty. Locate the seaboard. Port deck. The port deck is completely empty. Locate the seaboard. Signal light array. It is critical to locate the injured seaboard as quickly as possible. Okay, let's do just that then. Inquisition minutes. Backpack. Deck plan. Every inch of Iberian soil has a corresponding position on the flagship's deck. The components follow the mountain ranges, the cables represent the rivers. Several grammarians and rhetoricians were involved in the design, and they conferred meaning to everything on this deck. Thus, the crew members involved in taking care of it will never allow a single scratch or pothole to appear, for any blemish is a shame to Iberia itself. Polishing and waxing the deck that symbolizes their hometown and evaluating which section is smoother and shinier became a way for crew from different parts of the country to privately compete. There have been attempts in the past to swap out more susceptible to damage parts in the loading area for pieces of the deck in the other areas. Such actions were met with strict disciplinary measures. In the end, symbolism is just that, and we tend to easily get emotionally invested in a figment of our own imagination. Okay, slowly clearing out all the logs, all the silhouettes, all the backpack items, and only one more record is left. I'm assuming the Golden Age is that record. Okay then, deck room. The unbearable past relentlessly chases him, the unfaceable future solemnly awaits him. Observe. You wasted your chance. What? If I were you, when I called that talking seaborn in Salviento, I would have forced it to spill everything it knew about Aegir. You've been walking the land for years. You've never heard Aegir's messages. But the ocean is different. The ocean has never been disconnected. Yet you simply allowed it to die without creating any value. An unproductive decision, Gladia. I don't need to hear messages from trash. The only answers our prey can provide are the grunts of lowly beasts. Seems you found some assistants on land, and put quite a bit of trust in them.
The cosmos. Cemetery.
You're showing mercy. Why does he still stand?
I'm not. He's just a little sturdier than anticipated.
The knight does not fight back. He suddenly freezes in place and throws his head back. He staggers, spins around, and looks up. Gladia had planned to seize this moment to put an end to the chase, but right as she is about to, she has a faint premonition. The seaborn's scent. It's changed. You're already sensitive enough to notice such changes, then? That's right, Gladia. No matter how much you try to console yourself or others, this is a problem we will have to deal with sooner or later ourselves. Being slowly turned into seaborn.
Garcia!
Good, you hurt it real bad. We'll track it down in no time by following these blood trails. Wait, what are these burn marks? What did it do to my ship? The monsters can't have left these marks behind. That's right. It must be the masterwork of our lovely little Iberian bird. Ah, they grow up so fast. So who's scarier, the Seaborn or her people? You mean the Iberian from before? Her? Impossible. Any of this ship's battle-hardened sailors would have been stronger than her. How could she do this? Nibbles on the captain's sleeves. I understand. No matter. Regardless of what that Iberian did, we have to hurry. Time to put an end to this months-long hunt. You seem to be in a pretty good mood, Mr. Captain. Good mood? Ha! Who wouldn't be happy to bring an end to such a long hunt? You keep chasing. I'll go a different way. It won't cut through these walls. I'll try to get closer to the sea. It'll try to get closer to the sea. Garcia, your wounds aren't life-threatening. Just hang in there. Just hang in there and we'll be right back. The injured chief mate still needs more time to recover. It looks at its captain's face in silence. Joy, a hard-to-disguise excitement, a vigor it has not felt in a long time. It takes a peaceful nap, focusing its energy on rejuvenating its injured parts, all to help its lover continue the hunt. A brief, light dream, short, trance-like, and extremely rare since its body underwent such profound changes. In its dream, it stands upon Iberia's shores. The sky booms with fireworks and hums with the din of whistles. A high-spirited Alfonso stands at its side, asking it a question. Garcia. See the skids along the shore. We all like children. Children are the future of Iberia. Our glory, our feats, and our skills all die with us. But children, new lives, ones that all of Iberia will come together to nurture, and they'll inherit it all. Garcia, who do you think he should take after? How can it still move so fast with those injuries? I can't keep up. And holding back from firing my hand cannon is... The Nerecy brand has spread to the ship? But how? It wasn't this bad a little while ago. The fluorescent Nerecy brand has devoured the golden Iberian hull. The intricate dome reflects a ghastly blue light, and amidst the glow stands alone out of place woman. Her two hands are crossed in front of her as she silently and carefully sizes up the throne in front of her. The Nerecy brand spreads from beneath her feet, sapping the very color from the golden floor. She turns her head. Her eyes hold nothing but compassion and expectation. Good evening, Irene. The Church of the Deep Cultist? Did I miss? No, there's no way. Virginia Mars? That's right, Irene. If Dario could see you now, I'm sure he'd be so proud. How do you know our names? Who are you? I am a translator. You think a lie like that would do you any good? I never lie, Irene. I've translated a great many works. Perhaps one of novels full of Gaulish critical realism on your shelves contains my touch. Have you ever even noted the name of the translator? Look at your feet. You're the one who brought the Nerecy brand? That's a somewhat biased statement. I did not bring the brand. Rather, I established a bond with the fluorescent sea. Truly, it is an honor to be a part of it. How did you get to this ship? That doesn't matter, Irene. Nor does it matter whether you can defeat the Seaborn, whether I die here, or whether this ship will be a key to reconnecting with Aegir. None of that matters. And yes, the sacrifices of Dario and the Penal Battalion, Grandfaro's collapse, the Eye of Iberia, the long, long time that has passed. In the vast process of evolutionary transformation, all of these are but drops of water in the sea of life. My respect comes from the fact that we are all but part of the cycle. Compared to the whole, we are all insignificant. Wait, you mentioned the High Inquisitor. What happened to him? Alas, poor Irene. Look, I know the feeling of having questions and needing answers, but is this really the time, when your enemy stands right before you? What happened to him? His sacrifice was in vain, Irene. The sea breeze brought me news of his death. You have my condolences. Impossible. It can't be. Nothing is impossible, Irene. When the oracle descended, all the futures of this land were set in stone. We are back scrolling along the ground. We ought to follow the ordained path. What's wrong with choosing a life without barriers, without separation, without country and without form? If you choose to cease resisting, all the better. If not... Hello, Spectre. If none of this really matters, Amiya, then why are you buying time for our wounded little prey? Oh, you've woken up, Laurentina. Not completely, but I can at least remember your name. Hope I'm not coming across as rude. Irene. What did you do to her? Nothing. We were only making small talk. Skadi, continue the chase. Wasn't it your prey? And who was it that let me run into such a nostalgic figure? Alright, be careful. Irene? You're lying. The breath of the sea does not lie. No, like I said, that's impossible. The High Inquisitor's death must have had a purpose. The Inquisition never makes sacrifices in vain. If you don't believe that cultist, then I'll just have to become that purpose. So be it. What a resilient child you are. Hunter, let's go. Oh my dear little Irene. You've only just learned to control the power of an Inquisition hand cannon, and this is how you display it? If you continue trying to burn the Netherseas brand in such a crude manner, Captain Alfonso will be furious, no? Well, no matter. You're going to just let them walk away? Alas, unlike Quintus, I'm not in such a hurry. Why would I want to face 2 hunters at once and cut my life even shorter? Is there a difference between a moment and an instant? There isn't, but seeing you revert to your old temperaments sure brings me back, Laurentina. After all, you were in a coma until the first experiment began. How have you been since you left us? Spectre's lips curl into a subtle smile. It is the most beautiful smile she's shown tonight. It's getting faster. I've already put 2 more holes in it. Just how much blood can it have in there? Who? How did you... I'll tell you later. I don't think my stamina is going to last much longer. It's been cannibalizing its own kind this whole time. No wonder. Watch out, it's coming at us. Ishar La, where is he? Answer, I wish to know. You monster. Before Irene can fire her hand cannon, the Seaborn lurches forward. As the wall cracks audibly, Skadi leaps back with tremendous force before closing the gap between her and the Seaborn almost instantly. Her lethal strikes once again bite down on thin air. What? None of her hits landed? Insufficient. Nutrients, time, all insufficient. Isharamla will require answers, but I can feel his presence. With words we shall implore. Isharamla, even if he does not answer, it does not mean he is not there. Even if he is not there, it does not mean that our kind has lost its way. Our kind has found its way. We will seize our own fate. Survival, the primary goal. Do all of you love rambling on while trying to kill us? Don't overthink this and don't plan on returning to the ocean either. Insufficient, far from enough, but soon. Cover your ears, Irene. Huh? Ah! Screeching howl. Rossi, Ante. The waves are coming. We wait for them. We will wait outside. With weapons. We tear them. Let us go. The Seaborn's murmurs can be heard from afar. Gladia frowns slightly. For an ordinary landwalker to recklessly make contact with the ocean and win eternal madness is certainly conceivable. But what of the other Seaborn that obeyed him? But Gladia does not think about it too deeply, because a nauseating premonition is gnawing at her nerves. It makes her neck itch. What's happening up there? This ship has been adrift at sea more than 60 years. If they'd wanted to do away with it or even simply treated it as its crew and enemies, the Stultifera Navis would have sunk long ago. So instead, they're assimilating it. They've treated the ship as a part of their environment. For whatever reason, they must have allowed it to survive in their waters. But now the situation has changed. You mean... The Nethercy brand? Since when? And how did it spread this quickly? This ship will most certainly sink. Gladia, have you ever considered why an Aegir as talented as Breogan chose, in his final hour, to design the key the way he did? It should have unlocked the secrets Aegir has long dreamed of. It is the quintessence of his life's work. So why is just anyone's blood enough to activate it? Why would he let it fall into the hands of a frail knight? We did silence that thing, but they probably don't need any gods at all. Only humanity, in their impotence and hypocrisy, would fold their hands together and pray to the ocean, finding far too much solace within it. We need to make use of what little time we have, Gladia. You're still thinking about the incident with Thiago? Not quite. Of all the tragedies I've endured, his is hardly worth mentioning. Nothing more than a grain of sand on the beach. But how much sand does this beach require? This ship wasn't brought by the Penal Battalion. Most of the town's vessels were brought under their supervision, and the few that weren't were forgotten, stranded along the shore. Then we've saved quite a bit of time thanks to someone's carelessness. I can't help but think of how much more will be forgotten. What else will be stranded? Kelsey, if the land of Terra were a ship, what kind of vessel do you think it would be? We're almost at the Eye of Iberia. That we are. Okay, we found the Seaborn. A lot of stuff has unlocked. Well, one thing at least. Starboard deck. The injured Seaborn seeks to flee for its life. It feeds on its kin, amassing itself. It can feel that it has arrived before a broken-through door. Intercept. It must be stopped. Its kind senses the imminence of evolution. They swarm forth, their flesh clogging the way, using death to hold back their enemies. The Seaborn is fleeing into their midst. It still needs more time. Bow deck. The injured Seaborn is looking for an escape route. It needs nutrients. It needs direction. It can feel that it is but a step away from the answer it has always sought. Intercept. It must be stopped. Its kind senses a hope for the future. They swarm forth, their blood congealing into a bastion, using death to erect a mighty wall. The Seaborn is fleeing into their midst. It still needs more time. Port deck. The injured Seaborn stopped moving. It is thinking. It is realizing. It can feel that it has questions that cannot be answered and needs to find a way to resolve that. Intercept. It must be stopped. The creature looks out at the sea, towards where it was born, towards where it will end up. It cannot comprehend what has transpired within this floating box. It cannot comprehend the strangers and kin that have tried to hurt it. It lingers, brooding. It feels as if the answer is within its grasp, yet has no way to describe it. Soon, very soon. Inquisition minutes, just some logs. And SN9. 2 spots to defend. Yeah, that shouldn't be too bad, I don't think. I think we can go with the exact same setup. A bit annoying. Okay, we'll see.
諸君、君らの顔なんて覚えてられないけど、ま
Yeah,
あ、行こうか。
okay, I'm gonna put Texas in temporarily
本気で行くよ。
before I can place Lappy.
悪くない位置取りだね。了解した。切りつく。
Invisible while on Nether's brand. Well, thankfully that can be dealt with. Yeah.
進むぞ。
Sarya.
本気で行くよ。
And the first berry.
この程度で止まると思うな。
Will cruise be useful here? I
こ
think
の
so.
程度で止まる。
警戒態勢。
There's a lot of them.
命令を。
Give me some DP. For...
悪い人に立ち
berry
向かう
dead?
ぞ。
Well, not yet, at least.
うん
I have another berry,
リンゴちゃん
if
今
need
日
be.
もよろしくね。
There we
救
go.
援招待マルベ
Second
リー
berry deployed.
待機しています。いいよ。バイバイ。
この程度で止まると思うな。
Oh, she holds on. Not for long. Yeah, very dead. She is very, very dead. Shelter.
うわ、本気で行くよ。
Now Cruz is gonna be in danger, I think.
うん
この程度で止まると思うな。
Kelsey here, maybe? Second most annoying enemy. Oh boy.
モンスター、私に続
Ah,
け。
can't place monster yet.
凝固しろ。敵を視認した火力で一気に制圧する。
皆さん、どうか気をつけて。あれ、どこに行くの？
Barry died, but I have monster. And shelter. Monster isn't gonna get charged.
正々堂々と勝負をつけよう。
Why did you die? Oh, the lack of healing. That's why you
定
died.
位置に到達。
That explains things.
始めよう。
Lappy.
リラックスして。
Phew!
ほらが。
Oh fuck, a second one.
もうちょっとで僕に勝てるかもしれない。
That's no bueno.
これこそがイベリアのデストレッツァ。
状況は。
And I placed monster out of
この
Kelsey's
程度で
range.
止まると思う
Great.
な。
Fuck.
みんな、助けに来たよ。救援招待マルベリー。待機しています。どんな苦境でも、みんな、こっち来て。
ここまでにしよう。お前たちじゃ私に勝てない。やめておいた方がいい。
私だって。
Oh. Barely.
僕を手伝って
Barely. But it worked. And I can farm some manganese on this stage. Oh boy. okay, it wasn't that bad. Three more locations. Main mast. That's story, so I'm gonna skip it for now. Hydrological workstation. The Stultifera Navis is not only a battleship, but also houses a large number of research facilities. The unrecognizable equipment in the hydrology workstation regularly makes noises, but there's no longer anyone who can interpret them. A delicate device has been placed here, its underside labeled with a single line of Aegirian, meaning the contamination kit. It seems to fit into one of the slots of Little Handy. Gotcha. New Little Handy component. Halves the rate at which Nethercy Brand spreads. Oh, that's good. Nethercy Brand deals 80% reduced arts damage to allied operators and no longer... Oh, I mean, that's just strictly better, I think. I might be mistaken. Backpack. The mini decontamination kit component will provide you and your little handy with the ability to eradicate contamination. Evil thoughts stem from the human heart and infect the land in kind. Righteousness is engulfed by filth, and glory is wounded by humiliation. Please make good use of this component to eliminate poison and stave off its spread. Efficacy is directly proportional to how smelly it is. A new log. A new silhouette. A dance and feed, nurture and foster. Discarded wooden barrel. Nobody knows what these discarded barrels were once used for. Perhaps over 6 decades ago they were filled with spirits that the crew would drink in celebration. Now, only a few tattered relics sit at the bottom of the barrel. Who was the desperate seaman who exchanged these things for the last sip of wine? A conference table. Another log to the minutes. And another bit of story. How should one sort out one's thoughts when reuniting with a mortal enemy after a long absence? Sure, a dance. Do you remember how we first met, Laurentina? Badly injured, you lay across the rocks of that snow-like beach as if you were some kind of sleeping beauty. After drifting along the currents for so long, I was finally awoken by some truly rancid land dwellers. How I wished I could have slept forever. Yeah, how did the conference table fit inside of a barrel, right? How could that be? If I'm remembering properly, we made quite a good first impression on each, didn't we? That I won't deny. Otherwise, you would have ended up like Quintus, chopped into itty-bitty pieces. Speaking of, what a damn shame. Why couldn't have I felt like this back at Salviento? I could have reminisced with him so much more vigorously. Amiya maintains her elegant posture. The Nethercy Brand spreads as far as she can see. But Laurentina does not take her seriously in the slightest. What's she looking at? Your recovery seems to have gone well. Thanks to you. What about the other one? How's he doing? Who knows? Maybe he ended up like Quintus and perished at the hands of a hunter. Which one? It was just idle chatter. Originium arts? True, if there is anything on land that can pose a threat to a hunter, it would probably be those so-called arts. But you don't seem very well versed in fighting with arts either. Aren't you a bit too pathetic? Laurentina, have you never wondered why your consciousness sometimes clears up and sometimes blurs? Or how you can even function after being injected with such a concentrated dose of a refined liquid originium? Isn't that because I'm built different? Yeah, she's just built different. You've also told me about your dance lessons. Ah, damn it, I can't believe you told me before I got to remember it myself. Fine, there were dance lessons. What else did I tell you about, Amiya? Stop changing the subject, Laurentina. Or are you saying you know exactly how you woke up? We've done many experiments on you, my sleeping beauty. For the longest time, we could only understand the ocean through the knowledge of the islanders, and then a perfect organism appeared right in front of us. Our methods were primitive at best. Even if we donned the trappings of the church, we could not hide our blemished as land-dwelling creatures. Cases of us embracing the sea were few and far between, and the new life forms were seldom stable. Do you still remember the huge ruckus you made right after waking up, and the first conversation we had after that? Yeah, Saint Spectre is just building a harem, isn't she? I asked. How did the Aegir manage to do it? Amiya dodges Spectre's attack. She gently caresses her neck, and the glow of the golden hole seems to bleach her skin a ghostly pale. You hold a massive amount of refined liquid originium right here. If an ordinary person had their spinal fluid replaced with such a concentration of liquefied originium, they wouldn't be merely comatose, no two ways about it. Jesus! Spectre has liquid originium instead of her spinal fluid? What the fuck kind of experiments were they up to? I haven't read Arknights. I'm guessing some of those questions are answered in Arknights, and Arknights is having a rerun right after Stultifera Navis. So I'm gonna be interested in seeing what the fuck is going on with Laurentina and Spectre. Ah, I really ought to thank you. After all, you allowed me to experience a completely different life. Do you know how many Aegirs had their futures forcibly wrenched from there because of the trench-sucking scum you worship? And what would you originally have been then? An opera singer? A playwright? A thief? Of course not. I wanted to be a sculptor. Even my teacher said I had the talent for it. When I was little, the city I lived in had a massive snow-white statue. Did it collapse during the Seaborn's invasion? Nah, that'd be too cliché. I've never even seen it broken. We moved to a different city before long. But that statue's always remained in my head, and I never forgot what it looked like. And then, thanks to you guys, I finally understand the allegory of that statue, alternating between black and white amidst the shadows. Rare. If I'd continued my studies in Aegir, I might have never learned the more nuanced meaning of that word. You can stop stalling for time now. I know your arts are related to perception. I've seen them. Haha, think of it this way. I've met some real weirdos aboard Rhodes Island. I might have done some rather unbecoming things, but never mind. I'm sure they'll forgive me. Is that the name of a ship? A much better ship than this one. Anyway, your precious seafarers are all dead or injured, and your Nethersea brand can't do anything but eat away at this pompous hole. What's next? Need help writing your suicide note? You don't get to see an authentic Aegirian calligraphy every day, you know. Well then, Laurentina. Amiya extends her hand to Spectre. Her slender palms are covered in the Nethersea brand, as if she's wearing faintly luminescent formal dress gloves. Spectre does not reject her, but grips her weapon tightly with one hand while holding Amiya in the other. The two of them step delicately across the golden hole. Actually, I wasn't much of a dancer when I was young. The captain taught me a few times much later. She's a better dancer than you. You know what keeps your earpathy in check? You also know why it's easier to wake up from your affliction the closer you are to the sea. The other hunters, particularly Gladia, must have guessed it long ago, but she's always been reluctant to admit the truth to herself. It could not be simpler, yet it is so cruel. Isn't it because I've returned home and I'm smitten by the scenery? Haha, Laurentina, I never realized how much you loved self-deprecating humor. But you're not wrong. Returning home, returning to the sea. It's all because their blood flows within you. The seaborn part of you is holding back the originium. The seaborn part of you is what wakes you up when you return to the ocean. So this awakened you, as you are now. Are you seaborn or abyssal hunter? Would you step? Thank you. You aren't expecting to shake me, are you? Like how Scotty got lectured by that talking scumbag in Salviento. Are you not shaken? Even though you recognize that your strength, your sanity, and your soul all come from your enemies? No one can remain unperturbed in the face of this truth. I haven't finished my story yet. Do you know why I love sculpting? Because during the process of carving, chiseling, and shaping... Spectre pauses her footsteps. Amiya is caught by surprise for a moment. Spectre releases her hand as her other is already bearing her weapon down. At that moment, her expression glistens with a childlike glee. We give meaning to the forms of the dead, liberating them from the void of meaninglessness. Just like my lovely destiny. There's no end to this trash. What do we do? How are you going to catch up to it? Where is it going? They retreat to the ocean when hurt. We don't often hunt them on dry land. But, sea terrors managed to breach the hull, but even the hand cannon of high-speed battleships couldn't be enough to damage the Stultifera Navis. But even the cannons of high-speed battleships shouldn't be enough to damage the Stultifera Navis. They've had years, must have chipped through it long ago. They trapped the ship but didn't sink it. Why? We can ponder this all we like, but regardless of what miracles it took, we need a plan fast or this ship really is going to sink. A plan, huh? That I do have. Quickly take out the enemy and quickly take out the enemy and then quickly take out the enemy and they should retreat back to their nest. Okay, I'm looking forward to the boss then. Is it really that easy? If not, then we make it so. It's heading up. Hurry, we can't let it reach the ocean. But, sea terrors are practically clogging the entire corridor. Can you still jump? What? The roof's been corroded by the nether sea brand and is very fragile. We'll take a shortcut. Jumping straight onto the deck? Hiss! There you are, my quarry. You prey on blood relatives, prey on kin. You have eaten many. Well, no shit. You think we can live off the wind? To consume is without fault. Food is plenty. You will consume me. You are inviting me. Because information from afar cannot pass to kin. Language they do not understand. Vibration of air. Utterance of sound, understanding of rules, learning of language. This is why I hate those Megir. Look, even the monsters are learning Agirian now. Don't think I'll show you any mercy just because you learned how to talk, scumbag. You consume me, I consume you. Feeding has continued for too long. Must be ended. How quickly time flies, you little runt. All this time I've watched you grow up. You think you're a predator, you're nothing more than my domesticated beast. Alfonso's blade digs into the Seaborn's body while its sharp fangs scratch his arm. Blood splatters through the air and the atmosphere intensifies. The Seaborn's movements are becoming faster. You ruined my last change of clothes. I'll just skin you alive. Over here. Ishar! Ishar! Nah, you will consume. Shut up. You don't need to blather on to kill your prey. We just do our job. Stop it before it jumps into the sea. Think you can run. The Seaborn continues to increase its speed, appearing to leave an afterimage of itself in place. It strides and bounds and in an instant is already on the opposite side of the deck. Barely touching the ground, it dives straight into the ocean. But something else is even faster than it. A black shadow cuts off its retreat and smashes it to the floor. There, away from the light, something sears a mark into the deck, causing the entire ship to shudder. Irene? Punt. Nah, you're the same type of thing as Quintus, aren't you? If not, the half of your body would have been sent flying, not just a little scratch like that. Next up is... Wait, what's this? This scent? You felt it. Of course, he no longer is concealing himself, which means he has proven what he wished to prove. He has said what he wished to say. Alas, I thought he'd be able to understand. Understand what? If this sand belongs to his master, rather than something else that's turned into a seaborn, then I'd suggest giving up on him ever understanding. Based on what I've seen of your shallow experiences and moral judgments, your idea of trustworthy Aegir is usually just whoever stands out most. Ulpianus had made his move. In that case, I can't waste any more time with her. There's no more point in stalling. I must find the Herald. I must welcome it. Leaving so soon? I thought we were just getting started. Maybe next time, Laurentina. If we ever meet again, let's have another chat about Aegir. Skadi doesn't blink. She couldn't be more familiar with these movements. Simple, straightforward, a force of nature. She remembers how her colleagues at Rhodes Island assessed her, as well as how she assessed the two in front of her back when she first saw them. However, you were all chosen, deemed worthy by Aegir. Under my command, you should have been prodigies of exacting violence, your hunting genes complementing your skills. But you've regressed, Skadi. You're... It's not dead yet, Ulpianus. Don't be in such a rush to patronize Skadi. I'm aware. Take it again, Skadi. Just like before, I'll only teach you once. Ulpianus swings his weapon. The strike is straightforward and without excess. It is sufficiently swift, such that the Seaborn cannot avoid it despite its wishes. Afterwards, an enormous rumbling sound proves that the strike was also sufficiently strong. By the time the Seaborn is miserably thrown against a turret that's never been fired, its body had already been considerably cut down in size. Like so. Grasp its movements, make a decision, swing your weapon, aim to kill. This is how we fight them. You are slower than before and more cautious. Your life on land has been no small influence on you. I never thought... But how did you survive? I thought you died, but you and Swordfish, how did you two survive? What about the others then? The first company and the fourth company, did they... By my standards, my survival was a tragedy. The Seaborn told me that the others could not be allowed to live on. They would not have overlooked anything in their nest. Of course, based on Gladia's usual attitude, by her standards, this was also a disgrace. Finish it off first. As for your situation, we can wait for the hunters to arrive. You, this dry, floating vessel, on the ship, Hunt, you left our kind. Death does not benefit our kind. Your death also does not benefit our kind. You... Ha! What kind of hunter talks before his quarry is dead? That's the first lesson we teach in field training. I seem to always be cleaning up after the messes of you Aegirs. What is it you want? What do you need with my ship? Look what you did to Iberia and to Victoria, letting monsters overrun Ursus. You're a stubborn bastard. Run it through. Now, Alfonso. Take this. Ha. Is it over? I can't feel my hand. Look out beneath you. What? It's not dead yet. It chipped through the deck, trying to jump onto the chopping block yourself, you suck of meat. No. No, not quite. After it, we didn't chase it back to the cabin, there is still more of its skin on the ship. It's looking for her. For Amiya to merge together and create the ultimate Seaborn or something. Herald? Scaleless skin, wounds
can be held. No way to nourish our kind. They all attack, but not hunt.
Amiya simply listens quietly. The wound Spectre left on her slender body continues to bleed, dripping into the pool of blood already shed by the Seaborn and mixing into one. Amiya simply listens quietly.
You also hurt. You consume me. Kin, you live. Our kind will continue and survive.
The Seaborn bows its body, lowering itself at Amiya's feet. It closes its eyes and awaits death. Amiya continues to listen quietly. Dedication, sacrifice. These sorts of unrequited altruism are respected by humans and considered virtues. Aegir, I have never seen that country myself. A vast, vast country, larger than Iberia, Victoria, or Ursus, or perhaps all three combined. I've heard that the Aegir are rationalists, but how rational can they be compared to the rationality of our kin? Listen to me, Herald. There's nothing noble about sacrifice, and dedication is not necessarily a virtue.
Virtue. Noble?
You do not need to understand what sacrifice or dedication are. Only the mediocre would presume that the Seaborn becoming closer to humanity is any form of evolution. No. This is merely an increased tolerance to allow for more possibilities. When we praise those who selflessly serve their kin, all that means is that so many more have chosen to do otherwise. If even young Glumpincers will die in the jaws of their natural predators to protect their kind, then why do we feel a need to repeatedly extol such a virtue? Humans only sing the praises of what's rare, using morality to whitewash altruism, all in attempt to justify their utilitarian hearts, deeming themselves more noble than beasts. Such ridiculous self-aggrandizement, it is clear that the cracks between nations and races are tearing this land asunder. Life has never been without order, my herald. This is the final answer I sought. This is the final answer I sought, for which I left the land and entered the sea. The Seaborn closes its eyes. It is contemplating the words of Amiya, the words of its kin. It does not understand, but its kin says that it does not need to understand, only to do. The next moment it feels its scaleless kin place her hand upon its body. Its kin says, I ask of you, remember me, set me free, consume me. Oh, so it's Amiya who sacrifices herself for the, for the herald, not the other way around. Interesting. Amiya. No, the scent is still here. It couldn't have gone... No, the scent is still here. It couldn't have gotten far. It cut through the walls corroded by the Nethersea brand and returned to the ocean. But that's not all. Something happened here. Its blood trails disappeared. You'll stay here, I'll go after it myself. Why would hunters be afraid to return to the ocean? This is a disgrace. And stew in that disgrace, Gladia. We need to tread carefully, and I alone will be enough to handle this. I'll go with you. To monitor me. To maintain discipline. As you please. Surely you can feel it too. More Seaborn are approaching. This place may be closer to shore, but it's already become the heart of the ocean.
Soon, the Grand Domain. Very soon. The storm is tearing the sky open. The terrible waves, they come. They will come. We shall watch. We shall wait. We shall meet the terrible waves.
Phew. Ceremonial Plaza. SN10, the last fight. What does it reward? Ooh, compound cutting fluid. Although I do have 34 of it, so I'm not necessarily hurting for that. Whew. Jesus Christ, what is that? Is top left gonna be a problem? Because I see top left being a problem. Lappy at the bottom, maybe. Top left, a defender and a healer. Barry, maybe. Okay, let's just go for it. Let's see how it goes. I think I'm decently happy about the setup. The Eye of Iberia. It's been a long time I last set foot here. Countless soldiers from the Penal Battalion laid down their lives here. And when the seabird finally broke through our defense line, countless engineers died in vain inside the lighthouse. Before our last ship was swallowed, we fled. For every 10 men who left home, hardly one returned. But now, behold, light! Carmen's voice trembles for the first time in an eternity. Kelsey stares silently out into the center of the distant reef. A massive lighthouse illuminates the entire sky as bright as the day. I don't see the ship. That is a good sign. It proves they found what they were looking for. Let's proceed. As long as this light is not extinguished, we will press forward. Monster. Clear the way. We're going in. The heat of fire. The sea terrors gather around the main door, wandering, spinning. Carmen's eyes sweep into the distance. They follow a line of the charred corpses of these abominations the entire way, their remains vanishing with the wind. The sea terrors do not feel fear. But they do know how to seek advantage and avoid disadvantage. Their base instincts have taught them to hunt cautiously. They have been taught fear. These creatures may not know what a country is, let alone laws and morals, but they have learned to fear the High Inquisitor. They have learned to fear everything we have built on top of civilization. Dario? Kelsey does not say anything. She can see. She can see a strange ring on a patch of fluorescent ground. Charred corpses are stacked high into a mountain. The deaths of tens of thousands of their kin had imprinted a new behavior upon the sea terrors. Do not approach the lighthouse. A feeble flame still flickers. It was originally a great bonfire. Before the sea terrors had perished in a tide of death, there was nothing flammable here at all. At the heart of the flame stands a single man. He lifts his lantern and leans on his sword, just as he did when he learned to stand guard in his youth, motionless. You've done well, Dario. Be at peace now. The lantern in Dario's hand seems to echo Carmen's farewell. In an instant, the fire swallows even more sea terrors before the raging flame then wraps around the silent High Inquisitor. His already clouded eyes are still gazing far into the distance. Carmen remains silent for a long time before Dario's statue-like body. Kelsey does not interrupt Carmen's mourning. She only takes in the scene with her eyes. There aren't many signs of the hunter's activity here. The High Inquisitor remained here alone, staving off the surging tides of sea terrors until his life was spent. But even if the soldier's life force had bled dry long ago, the sea terrors still feared him, because his flame had not extinguished, because his light had not dimmed. The Inquisitor had turned himself into a force of nature, a pledge to defend the sanctity of the Eye of Iberia even beyond death. After a long time, Carmen lifts his head. Only then does Kelsey see the signs of age in the old man in front of her. Though the Inquisition had used various methods to prolong his life, in this moment he could no longer hide the fatigue in his eyes. He turns his head and looks towards Kelsey, then back to Dario, who was gradually disappearing into the flame. He was my finest student, Kelsey. We have 3 minutes to mourn the death of the soldier. Once the flames go out, nothing will stand between the sea terrors and their nest. They will swarm this place. Also, I didn't see the girl. At least his disciples survived. Are there no higher level Seaborn here? Doesn't seem so, for the time being. Their numbers are nothing to be feared then. For the time being. We ought to find a more permanent solution. The Eye of Iberia was built by Breogan. It has the potential to become the hub for establishing a link with Aegir. Assuming they were able to find a ship. Wait, hold on. Who reactivated the Eye of Iberia? Neither the Aegir nor Dario should have had any experience with this. Look up there.
Finally. The control panel is fine. Yeah, I'm totally worn out. You're...
I must admit, you've surpassed my expectations. You managed to relight the Eye of Iberia by yourself, restoring at least 30% of its functionality. You did this alone, under these conditions.
You're the one Mr. Lizzie mentioned. Oh, what about Mr. Inquisitor? He's been fighting for his life down there this entire time, and I didn't dare get close to him, since I wouldn't be able to help anyway, so all I could do was keep an eye on the control panel here.
He made the ultimate sacrifice.
What?
But by no means was it in vain. He sacrificed himself for his faith, and as such will now live on forever. He died heroically as an Inquisitor, as a vindicator of Iberia. His ideals shall be forever enshrined on the coast of Iberia. And then there is you, Aegir. You have defended the purpose of his sacrifice. You have persisted all this time and never given up. You've done well.
I never got to talk to him much, but he...
Sobs.
What about Gran Faro? What's going to happen to my home?
I usually don't answer every question from the general public. But for now, I don't intend to lie to you. Gran Faro will soon be under the management of the Penal Battalion. The citizens will all come under their unified control and contribute to the construction of frontline checkpoints. Also, Thiago died at the hands of heretics.
No, how could this happen? Uncle Thiago, is he really...
He had long been aware of the Church of the Deep Scultists, yet turned a blind eye to them. His cover-up thwarted the plans of the Penal Battalion and delayed their ability to send support here. Even if he'd escaped death, he would not have escaped me, child.
Jordi collapses limply onto the ground. He feels numb and exhausted. He feels like the single string supporting him through everything that happened, long worn thin, had suddenly snapped. Uncle Thiago, why?
Monster, guard the entrance. Can you confirm where the Stultifera Navis was last seen? Dame Kelsey?
Not that far. And the last signal came less than 48 hours ago.
What? She's still able to send signals?
Breogan helped the Iberian royal family construct lighthouses and fleets. Why, if not for restoring a connection to his homeland? Be the Eye of Iberia or some transponder hidden in a corner of the Stultifera Navis, they all use the Aegis technology without reservation. Of course, all of this assumes that the Seaborn haven't already destroyed the ship or turned it into their nest. Carmen's eyes silently follow the direction of the light extending towards the horizon. The Stultifera Navi cannot be seen by the naked eye. The ocean is too expansive, and what's not too far for a ship is still a cruel joke to those on land. The weary saint once again shows his age. His lips quiver, as if innumerable thoughts are crossing through his mind.
Alfonso, Garcia, Touré, Julia. We're still out there.
Oh, so he knows Alfonso. My captain and Gladia pursued it into the sea. We should go help them.
No, we'd be better off waiting here. The waters are restless and the seaborn scents swirl together. There is probably more than just one. Did you hear something, Scotty? What? No, I didn't. I see. What have you done to this place? You eggers, how'd you get in here? I was the only one with the key, and when the old deadbeat kicked the bucket, I threw it into the ocean. It's been 50 years already. If this is the power source for the vessel, wouldn't locking it up mean giving up hope? The old deadbeat was the last engineer we had. When he died, we had nobody left who would fix the ship. To make matters worse, we were already tangled up in the seaborn and couldn't get away. Didn't need anyone rocking the boat on my watch. But answer me, how'd you find this place? Brogan. The captain followed the clues he left, which led to Iberia, then here. You people, you know the ship, right? Nope, not at all. I've always been more into the arts anyway. But it really shouldn't come as a surprise. To return to Aegir, we must follow the trail of the Aegir. What's this? Nah, you've even gotten your hands dirty digging up some of Brogan's personal belongings. Has an Aegir ever heard of respecting people's privacy? What does it say? Brogan's experiences on land. A travel log, I guess. Is this what the captain's been looking for? No clue. Why don't you ask her yourself? Just a small part of it. Returning empty-handed, eh? It disappeared. Furthermore, the reason we didn't chase any further is because there were signs of other seaborn nearby. They came here following distant scents and the calls of their kin. Now I don't mind skipping straight to the slaughter, but we should resolve the problem of this ship first. You dare treat my Iberia as a prize to be taken. This ship is the only way for us to return to Aegir, and only it can contain our cities. As for the issue of repairs, perhaps I might be more qualified than a handful of backwards Iberians who know little of Brogan's technology. I can't pass up this opportunity, even if we must resort to force. Two against four, eh? 3 against 3. Captain? Not so fast, Gildia. Don't forget what I said. You never gave me a reason to give up on returning to Aegir. I'm telling you, you don't know what it's like there now. The Seaborn have never taken the initiative to attack our cities unless their nests and living spaces were threatened. Each act of slaughter, each act of destruction has been fueled by the Aegir's degeneracy. They thought we were dead. They lost contact with us. The blood of the Seaborn flowed within us. In all our long years of battling against those enemies, we finally have a prime opportunity. And do you think these few acts of degeneracy have nothing to do with the scum we fight? Even if left alone, the Seaborn's living spaces will grow like a tumor until the entire ocean is devoured. This and that are two separate issues, neither of which can be solved by heading home, rejoining the army and marching forward once more. Why don't we try thinking outside the box this time? So you've chosen to listen to the slowly beasts, to walk with them, to understand them? Because they're kin, but what do we know about them? Far too little. I can hardly even understand what I've seen myself. Until we've obtained definite answers about their gods, everything we do is uselessly groping around in the dark. What are you talking about, Captain? You and the Seaborn, how do we know you're still on our side? Why do you have to... Every hunter who thought they could get something out of the Seaborn has ended up disappearing. Of course, you should understand that better than me. Their whispers resonate. They will invade your mind. Those are not your thoughts. Scotty, that's also a separate issue. I'll let Gladia give you the specifics. Ship captain, escort them away. I was just thinking the same thing, Aegir. What a pity. Stillness. Silence. Hunters long separated always seem to have the least pleasant of reunions. Something squirms in the hearts of Skadi and Spectre. The chief mate hesitates, its wounds still aching. Swords are drawn, bowstrings stretched taut. Quiet. Too quiet. Wait, how is this possible? The rushing of the waves, the howling of the wind, the creaking sound of the hull being torn open by Seaborn, they all become distant. Hunters,
The ship is sailing.
Nonsense, old Iberian. Just how many years do you think?
No, I swear it's true. Something's pushing the ship, and it might have been pushing the ship the whole time we were chasing after the Seaborn. And from the very beginning, our surroundings have been unusually quiet.
Oh, last night is pushing us.
Kin, gather, take the cell and go far away. Follow. We will follow. We will find the end of the storm. The waves are fading. Silence is coming.
The profound silence? The profound silence 2.0? I don't hear anything at all. After so many years of the waves washing against us, why? Everything is just like that day. Garcia, my hand is shaking. Damn it, if I didn't need it to hunt, I would have lopped this thing off a long time ago. What's the meaning of this, Aegir?
Gladia does not answer. She imperceptibly reaches for her neck. The scales, the part of her that do not belong to her, are resonating with something. The scent of the seaborn, the smell of the ocean, is all gone. Look outside. It's way too peaceful. How could this be?
What's going on? Why is it so quiet? Wait. Did you hear that? What was that? Was there something?
The ocean sank into an unprecedented silence. Anomalies appeared across the shore as violently ebbing tides and irregular waves heralded the coming of disaster. All sounds were smothered, from waves crashing against the shore to the chiming of city clock towers. All noise faded away, until the voices of the people all disappeared as well. Until the wind was stilled. The profound silence came without a sound. Impossible. It's just like in the Inquisition's records. Are we facing another silence?
Shark, where are you going? Heading up to check things out? I'll go with you.
Me too.
No, Scotty. You and Gladia stay here. Scotty.
Why?
Stay with Gladia and remember this one thing. You will always be our hunter. Laurentina, let's go.
Spectre lifts her head towards the sky. The dark clouds know not when to dissipate, but she, who has lost the concept of time, finds a sea of stars in the sky. She can finally hear that voice. The voice that calls out to her. Spectre paces around the deck and Ulpianus casts her a concerned glance for just a moment. You and the captain have a keen sense of smell? Can you sense any seaborn around us?
No. Right now there's little difference between here and the land. Even though we're clearly floating out at sea, it's disconcerting. I'll hear the other way to see if we're really being pushed by a current.
See you soon. Oh, starry sky. This is the first time in many years I've seen the stars so clearly. I had forgotten so many things. I forgot my home was used by others, and what finally saved my life and awakened my memories was the part of me I hated most. Accepting that I'm a freak actually wasn't as hard as it sounds. That's what makes me unique. The one final thing I am unable to let go of is my home. But have I really returned? Is this place on the sea's surface really Aegir? Is this still my home? Just because Gladia never said it doesn't mean I wouldn't realize it. Just because Gladia never said it doesn't mean I wouldn't realize. It wouldn't be the first time rifts have grown between hunters, but between us and Aegir, we've been separated by the shore for too long. I remember something else. When I was little, I once went with my parents and grandparents to watch the stars on the ocean's surface adorn the sky, on a day much like this. Even the most beautiful pearl geode couldn't compare to that splendor. In retrospect, even after I became a hunter, I was always leaving my home again and again, but never reaching anywhere else. Haha, I suppose I'm getting a bit homesick. Where are you going to take me this time, Amiya?
Oh, it's a biblically accurate angel.
I have no better description for this creature.
It's a biblically accurate angel. Half jellyfish, half angel, half human, half ribbons. That's a cool design. That's a very cool design. Also, neat detail, I don't hear any sound from the game. It is truly silent. No music, no sound effects, nothing. Pain, that's what it is. Okay. I'm not looking forward to facing against it. And before we do face against it, I'm gonna take a short break. I need to get myself something to drink. And we're gonna return because I see that we're already headed into battle. So this seems like a good place to take literally just a minute of a break. And I'm back. No sound is weird, indeed, because it's supposed to be weird. That's the thing. It's supposed to be weird, and it works perfectly. And yeah, the art is just beautiful. I'm gonna save it. That's gonna work great as a, I don't know, wallpaper on your desktop. Under the magnificent starry sky, the creature quietly looks down on Spectre. It makes not a single sound. The ship splitting the waves, the wind's bluster. All sounds are drowned out by his soft murmurs. He hovers in the air as if walking on water, gently kissing the light of the stars and moons, his tentacles coruscating in a beautiful array. Nowhere, Laurentina. The ocean is boundless, and wherever we go is all the same. I've always been able to hear your song, Amiya. Laurentina. That is the name of our scaleless kin, the Liberi, the Iberian. As I consumed her, she kept stroking my head. She spoke to me of many things. Time itself was like frozen dust, an eternity seeming to pass as I listened to her. Until she could no longer speak, until even the bones were digested by our smallest kin, she nurtured me with both nutrition and time. She taught me everything I know. Since when were you so sentimental towards your food? Such was her request. I merely granted it. If there is purpose to such emotions, we are willing to experiment. What of Isharmla, Gladia, and Ulpianus? Are your kin ready to return to the Great Sea? We've had a bit of an internal disagreement. Why? Your home is clearly right before your eyes. We many are clearly right here awaiting you. You're homesick, Laurentina. Maya told me that, of all the Aegir she ever made contact with, you harbor the greatest affection for Aegir itself. Come, embrace me, and I will bring you back home. You know, I never touched a living seaborn before. I prefer your kind dead. Just as you prefer to give shape to inorganic matter, even though it offers nothing for your survival. Do you have any other pursuits other than survival? Pursuits, like your pursuit to return home, the survival of our kind, the survival of more of us, the survival of we many. All beings ought to form a single entity. Life should not be so disorderly. Ooh, that's beautiful. A seaborn descends onto the deck, and you can see bits and pieces of Amiya, even her clothes. Spectre laughs. You're a graceful one. Did Amiya teach you that as well? It was just her request. A memento. I suppose that means you'll be paying back both of our debts. Ah, before her death, Amiya entrusted you to me. I will make use of your life. I will also fulfill your requests. Amiya thanks you. She said I should help you. Because of you, their work was able to take another step forward. Their research and ideals have all advanced greatly. I can talk to you about Isharmla. I can take you back to Aegir. I can share with you what our kind are and how they are doing. I can name your clansmen who are trying to become one with us. Amiya begged me to help you. Only through helping you will you accept us as kin. Ha! In that case, my first request is stop singing. I want to hear the wind of my hometown. Very well. In an instant, the wind and the waves return to Spectre's ears. Just as the sound of the first waves splashing against the deck rings out clearly, Ulpianus's giant blade is already poised above the Seaborn's head. Okay, so the profound silence and the ability to silence things seems to work kind of like active noise cancellation, where the Seaborn emit a sound wave on the opposite to the sounds around, and they cancel each other out, and that creates silence. That's cool, that's interesting. Seems purposeless, but it's interesting how that works. Die. Die. What? Managed to block. Ulpianus? A sufficiently heavy blow? Our kin in the ocean will welcome his unconscious form. They will take him back to our nest, where we will spend time becoming one with him. As for this floating box, it has been used to house our kin who have not yet adapted to the sea, but most of them died, and the rest have refused to become one with us. Therefore, it is no longer needed. Spectre is unable to see the Seaborn's movements, but like a piece of garbage being swept aside by a pedestrian, the once glorious cannon mounted on the ship vanishes in the blink of an eye. A few seconds later, an enormous splash in the distance reveals where the steel construct had gone. How did it manage to slice off that cannon? With its tail? Shit. Spectre's eyes are unable to follow. Whether shaken by the ease with which Ulpianus was repelled or distracted by the sound of the metal cannon being sliced through, Spectre is easily struck and sent crashing into the deck. She was unable to see the attack at all. Come, let us return to the sea. Whether to hunt or to communicate or to evolve, we must all return to the sea. Halt! You're trying to take apart my ship, you monster! Garcia! The chief mate charges at the Seaborn, but before even laying a finger on that elegant being, the chief mate's movements suddenly freeze. Kin. This is kin. I am attacking my own kind? God. What a paradoxical being. We have consumed many of our kin, yet many more go hungry. We ought to feed them, turn into nutrients and nourish our kind. Garcia! What are you doing to my chief mate? Ugh. Yeah, god damn it. Don't worry, I'm alright. Alfonso. What is it? Wait, hold on, what? Garcia, you... Alfonso. Today is the last day of our voyage. All these years, I always treated myself as a monster. Easier this way. I know
If I die, you'll be lonely, and then you'll die. You shouldn't die, so I'm worthless. Today's the last day of our voyage. I think I already feel kinship towards it. No, no! Garcia, you can still talk. You're still yourself. No, time is up. The Stultifera will soon sink. The fluorescent sea has already started to corrode the ship. I will fight to the death as an Iberian. I will never accept it as my kin.
The Seaborn has already bent down. It looks hardly any different from the greatest chief mate Iberia has ever known. Garcia nudges the shining crown sitting atop its head.
My beloved, remember your duty.
You are not fighting me, Garcia. You are fighting with many inside your heart. You are on this ship, but you thirst for the sea. But it doesn't matter. Become sustenance and nourish our kin, or become one with us. The chief mate's body is punctured, blood gushing out like a spring. The Seaborn tosses Garcia overboard into the ocean like chucking out bait. It gazes from above, noble and impassive, like an inviolable icon.
What just happened? How could it so easily...
Human, kin, and all living things in between. Amiya wishes to correct you. Mesugaki needs correction, hey? And thus, it shall be done. I simply welcome back my kin, and welcome back Isharmla. Protect the lives of our kin, then return to we many. Return home. Shark. Gladia effortlessly steps forward, casting off the gentle beckoning from behind. In the space of a moment, Skadi, who had been standing behind her inspector, once again returning to battle, reacted in sync and brandished their weapons at the Seaborn. As the fastest of the group, Gladia would improve the synergy between the three if she slowed down a bit, but she had already lost the capacity to stay calm. It dodges, or, more accurately, it simply takes a step forward, but its speed is sufficient. It has its eyes only on Skadi. There are many among us who wish to see you, Isharmla. Isharmla. Our kind awaits you. We await you. We hope you will answer our call. Filth. Is there no end to that arrogance? Gladia whirls her lance at the Seaborn, but it does not evade. It is run through, its body easily lifted and smashed down into a deep pit. No good. What's happened to your body? Soon, many kin in need will reach my heights. We are changing every day. Gladia, we are one whole. You are offered the strongest batch. Where's my captain? Tossed into the sea. He was injured pretty badly. Even their gods were unable to devour Ulpianus. He won't die so easily. Its body seems to have undergone some changes. It's nothing like the trash we encountered in Salviento. Swordfish? Treating an enemy with caution rather than contempt? Maybe I'm still missing some memories, but does that ever happen, Skadi? No, you're right. It is rare, but Seaborn like this were also rare. What kind of prey stands before 3 hunters and remains unscathed? To be fair, I've barely done anything yet. The ship won't hold out if we keep fighting like this, though. The ship won't hold out if we keep fighting like this, though. It's grown much stronger. Just the last few blows have already set the lowest deck on fire. How dare you treat Garcia and my ship like this? I'll make you regret this, monster. Please, my kin, even more of our kin... Please, my kin, even more of our kin call out to me, asking me to maintain the ocean's growth and tranquility. If you get in my way, I have no choice but to consume you. I beg of you, return to our kind. Hey, Amiya? If you insist on calling me that. Sure do. Anyway, I just remembered something which really should have been written into the scriptures. What? She still owes me her life, and you're going to pay it back. A debt. If you are willing to return to our kind, I'll grant you that. I will grant you that. No can do. The seaborn does not answer. It silently leans forward, bearing its claws. In an instant, the damage to the ship's hull passes a critical threshold, and everything inside shakes violently. Minutes. Yes, your kind's conception of time. Amiya spoke of this before. 10 minutes. In 10 minutes, this box will be surrounded by our kin. It will sink, hunt and consume, survive and evolve. It has never hesitated. Okay, I'm looking forward to the pain. Well, I'm not looking forward, but also kind of looking forward. Oh, lower route from... Oh, you motherfucker. Really? And here it is, the golden age.
全員の行動力を奪う。それでいいだろう。
みんな戦いに集中して。みんなこっち来て。
You?
分かった。無駄だ。
呼吸を整えて。
ほら頑張れ。もうちょっとで僕に勝てるかもしれないよ。
And maybe you. And a second very soon.
みんなこっち来て。
Or should I maybe replace R2 with Shelter? I think that's gonna be better in the long run. Second berry deployed. Oh fuck, I still need to protect the top. With Kelsey and Monster.
リンゴちゃん、今日もよろしくね。
行こしろ。敵を死にした。
分かった。
Thorns, Kelsey.
みんな。
状況はモンスター。
Let's clean it up.
呼吸を整えてリラックスして。もう声を出さないでね。ゴーグルはどこを見てるんですか。キョロキョロするのは危ないですよ。
I can't stop it. Can I? It's just gonna enter the box. Yeah, I have no way of stopping it. So how should I deal with that?
先に行って。ここは私が抑える。
How should I deal with that?
他の人を連れて先に逃げて。
Let's go to the minutes. Formation and silence. Final battle. The tiny little seaborn stops first here and then in the bottom right corner. Can I like block them? Block it there? And maybe burst it down with some damage? Was there anybody I did not use? I didn't use Texas. Could I get some like strong guard. My suitor isn't E3 yet. Okay, let's try NTR. I'm gonna drop her to the bottom right and we'll see how that works.
編成には気を払ってほしい。全員規律はしっかり守ってもらう。
わあ、リンゴちゃん、今日もよろしくね。
No, you go a bit more to the front.
すぐに終わる。
Very.
到達。みんな、こっち来て。
Who? Where? Fuck, someone got through. I should probably start with Thorns, not with Saria. Damage is better than defense in this particular case.
"身だしなみを整えて整列出発."
本気で行くよ。
Yeah, first Lucky, then Thorns. And I can wait to deploy a berry. Now Saria. Burst them down. Why aren't you attacking? Oh, because there's nothing to attack. Understandable. I'm gonna retreat you. Deploy a berry.
待機しています。本気で行くよ。
Then
指定の座標に到着。
monster. And I would very much like shelter now, please.
みんな、こっち来て。
Thank you.
ここは私に任せろ。
Second berry just in
戦いに
case.
集中して。治療は私がやります。
Saria! Why? How?
皆さんの安全を守るのが私の仕事です。
君にできるかな。
悪い人に立ち向かうぞ。
火力で一気に制圧する。
Okay, clean it up.
リンゴちゃん、今日もよろしくね。
最適な布陣を考えじゃねえ。
Maybe take you out.
か？私得意です。
Now that's not much better. Burst him.
光があなたに染み渡らんこと。
Burst him as much as you can. So that Shelter and the rest have a bit of an easier time.
正々堂々と勝負をつけよ。
いいよ、準備はできてるから。ぶん殴ってやる。いいよ、バイバイ。
Barry, why aren't you healing Bubble? Oh, because Bubble isn't in Barry's healing range. Duh, stupid question.
ほら頑張れ。もうちょっとで僕に勝てるかもしれないよ。
1対1戦闘中に余計な言葉は不要だ。
Will this be enough to burst it down? Okay, it's dead.
前に進む
I
ぞ。
hope it stays dead. Probably not, though. Or maybe? I hope I don't have to deal anymore with that boss.
この程度で止まると思うな。私が先陣を切る。敵を死にした。そいつらを逃がすな。すぐに終わる。
Very.
皆さんの安全を守るのが私の仕事です。
あなたの命令を待つのみだ。この程度で止まると思うな。
Oh, it's
いいよ。準備は
it's spawning
できてるから。
behind my front
こ
lines.
こだよ。
1対1聞こ
Oh, that's not good.
風がざわめいてる。
I don't suppose I can burst it down quick
も
enough.
うちょっとで僕に勝てるかもしれないよ。
Oh, wait, maybe?
すぐに終わる。
Okay. Does it have one more form? Please tell me it doesn't have any more forms. Please tell me that's it. Save? Okay, good. Fucking hate this boss.
すぐに終わる。
One more phase, Jesus
飛び降りるん
Christ.
ですか？私得意ですよ。
Okay, so,
敵を死にし
Chen, I'm gonna turn off your skill so we have the time to charge it. Will the three of you fucking move?
諦めるな。
Okay, can you burst them down
私が障害をすべて
real
取り除
quick?
く。
And you get stunned. No! God damn it. Bubble.
諦めるな。
Fuck.
ゴーグルを皆さんどうか気をつけて。
Okay, that's no bueno.
中して治療は私がやります。
Are you lot are gonna be moving? Or are you just gonna stand there?
モンスター、私に続け。
Can they get any slower? There we go. More? Okay. Every skill. Hit him with everything.
どこに行くの？ どんな苦境でも
Okay, I beat the
みんなと
boss.
一緒に立ち向かうから。
So there's that at least.
呼吸を整えてリラックスして。呼吸を整えてリラックスして。
Okay, that's not gonna be 3 stars, but I beat the boss. I'm happy. At least I'm gonna be able to get the whole story of this event. Except the EX stages or whatever they're called. And this I can work in my spare time. There's still like a day left of this event, so if I feel like 3-starring it, then I might. This isn't possible. True, then this whole time the Abyssal Hunters have been looking for something right under their noses. What that possibly signifies? What that possibility signifies is too vile to put into words. From beginning to end, the Eye of Iberia has always borne witness to the aftermath of calamity, but it is just a sinking eyeball unable to speak. What does this mean? It means Aegir's demise is accelerating. It means that, if even cities at this distance are sending out distress signals, then the Stultifera Navis has been circling above their nests. Then the Stultifera Navis has been circling above their nest since the very beginning. The hunters are all in danger. I know what you're thinking, but we have only one ship and 2 of us. Saving the Stultifera was not realistic. You may not mind a few abyssal hunters dying at sea, but what we would be strangling in its cradle is opportunity for both Aegir and Iberia. Dario died a warrior's death. Wouldn't you want to gain some valuable knowledge from the mouth of the surviving Inquisitor? This is our last chance. No, a powerless city almost reduced to ruins. How many Aegir have already fallen to the ocean? We must act cautiously, or we will be leaping into the flames. Even so, this is our last chance. If we wait until Aegir can no longer respond, until another silence has fallen over Iberia, then indeed the true enemy will appear. But at that point, would it matter? I understand you have your responsibilities. You don't want to take any risks until the Penal Battalion has full control over this place. So I'll go alone. I know better than to underestimate the power of you and your pet, but it's a long trip. Are you sure you'll make it on your own? The hunters bleed a special kind of blood. Sea terrors aren't necessarily that hostile towards ordinary ships. I can only hope you didn't just make that up to assuage my fears. That's not a lie. That's not a lie I would have come up with anyway. Regardless, I can't leave the hunters behind. You'd better bring back the hunters and Irene, Kelsey. I will. Is there anything I can do to help? Is there anything I can do to help? Monster, survey our surroundings. If the sea terrors went back into hiding underwater, don't rile them up. We need time, since the ship's taken some damage from the trip. This ship... The one the hunters took was left by the Inquisition's spies. Lord Cadman's original plan was to join up with the Penal Battalion at Gran Faro, establish a frontline headquarters and push forward on a medium-sized naval vessel. So, this lone boat abandoned on the shores of Gran Faro is our final hope. I can help. I'll go take a look at the boat. I've never actually repaired a ship before, but I do have some tools with me. Can you really head out to the sea on something like this? If you don't think so, then probably not. Wait. Out of the way, Jordi. What? Huh? Sea terrors? Wow! They were hiding in the shadow of the reef. Monster. Jordi, get off the boat. I can't. Something's pushing on it. The anchor's gone. I'll try to steer it back. Jump off. The sea terrors are swarming around it. Monster, go rescue him. Wait. Then we'd lose the boat then. I'll try to steer it back. Watch out behind you. Save Jordi first. Whirlpools, changing currents, and the sea terrors are unusually active again. What's going on here? And here I thought Kelsey has answered to everything. You want me to grab on and fly back with you? But then the boat will... Whoa! Jordi knows that if he doesn't take this opportunity, then he'll drift into the endless ocean along with the ship. There's no other choice. He has to return to the Eye of Iberia and hide inside the lighthouse. Just like he hid in that little town for over a decade. Just like he hid when Dario died. Just like with Thiago. He clings to the mast to avoid falling into the aberrant waves. Monster is visibly dissatisfied, urging him on. Sea terrors leap from the water's surface from time to time, darting back and forth rapidly and kicking up plumes of water. The Eye of Iberia is already becoming smaller and smaller. He sees words carved crookedly into the boat's mast. Gran Faro. I will go in Kelsey's place. All I have to do is find that ship and bring everyone back, right? That doesn't sound too hard. No, compared to losing the ship and waiting helplessly under the lighthouse, it's a gamble I have to take. I can do this on my own. Brave, aren't we? As long as even one of our kin touches upon the ultimate answer to life, we will be able to reweave the laws of the cosmos from beginning to end. Before we are given our next revelation, we shall find a way. Even if Isharmla refuses to answer, even if our kind will never know the divine will, we will still survive. Shark? Of course. Our kin have conveyed their will. Nutrients are sufficient. No longer must we feed on each other. I should return to the nest. You should come with me. Running away so soon? It barely took any damage, but the ship's in tatters. You're still going on about that stuff, Amiya? Why don't you just stay put and let me kill you like a good girl? Our kind calls me back. They call for me to share my fruits with them. I shall heed their call. When that is done, I shall heed your call. I shall seek you out, and you shall kill me. Haha, of course I can't let you leave. If I let you go, how many Seaborn just like you are going to end up all over the place? Amiya sure knows how to make things hard for me. If only she were as simple and straightforward as Quintus. What a shame, I couldn't keep her around with that dance. What a shame I couldn't keep her around with that dance. You took too much, scum. Sharmla, I've always wanted to meet you. What happened? Why doesn't he speak anymore? Where is he? Ha! It's like hacking at water. No resistance at all. Are you him? Is he you? I have no idea what you're talking about. If you mean that big guy, he's already dead. Death. Withering. He exists beyond these concepts. His voice by no means signifies the end of life. Would your kind call him? The same as those cultists? Your god has already withered and fallen into the abyss. God. No. This is what we call him. Isharmla. I'm here. The hardship we suffer is ever present. The life we thirst for is ever present. Sharmla. Once more I feel his pulse. Kin, we swam together to his abode in the abyss, where even death drowns. We have lost contact with him, but his choices can only lead to the future. Kin, your information, nay, the flow of your emotions. You feel it, Isharmla, because you have left the arid land and returned home. Our blood flows in your veins. His blood flows in your veins. You are him. No. I am the Abyssal Hunter, Skadi. No matter. As you say, thus you are, Abyssal Hunter, Skadi. Isharmla, we await his answer. Be it on the other end of time, he will answer us. Until then, until our answer finally comes, we many shall live on. Gladia silently appears behind the Seaborn, the lance in her hand actually puncturing the creature's body. It is followed immediately by the cacophony of a whirling chainsaw. Too slow? You're becoming weak, so just accept getting turned into paste. Too shallow. It's not good enough. Ugh. The heat of the sweltering flame sweeps down the long corridor. The Stultifera is groaning. The Seaborn does not attack the vulnerable Skadi. It simply stares at her in silence. A very strange sensation, just like at Salviento. It is watching her, Skadi thinks. The ship is at its limit. It'll start sinking very soon. It's trying to get away. Ah, below you. Don't move, monster. I won't allow you to return to the sea. You are a pitifully weak human. Even as nutrition, you are not enough to nourish our kin. Now that nutrients are plentiful, we require only time. This place is far from your territory. You have no reason to interfere with us. You and your kind cannot be judged by the law. I don't think I have any means of eradicating you for Iberia either. Law, burdensome rules of survival, as Amiya once said. Compared to our kin, you are indeed too weak. But I will not let you escape, ocean scum! This is the last shot. And sure enough, I can't even leave a scar on you. Emotional. How strange, human. You are so weak, driven by emotions, trying to escape my hunger. Escape. Yes, escape. Fear? But why do you still stand here then? Why do you attack me? Why do you not flee from me? Do you also wish to make a contribution to we many? Huh. Who gave you the right to interrogate me? The Seaborn no longer speaks. The creature before it is not kin. Predation does not require the tool called language. But before it can strike, a shadow drops from the darkness of the ceiling. Alfonso? Shh, haven't seen the color of its blasted blood since it became like this. This hunt is almost over. You killed my chief mate and you will pay. You both, paradoxical beings, you still refuse to become our kin. You have eaten many of us, yet you refuse to become part of us. Make your choice. Not much time remains. Hunt, acquire nutrients, return to we many. Or seize your bodily movements, give up the gift of life, and pass it on to our other kin. Choose. Irene? Yes, why are you calling my name, though? Tell me, you have a way to return to land? But I must go back. I can't stand against the Seaborn, but Iberia can. I'll carry this final warning with me. What happened to all of you, what Gladia saw, I must bring all of it back. You're starting to sound like a messenger. That's fine. I can be whatever I want. But I must go back. Our ship is about to sink. 60 years. It's been over 60 years. But because of your arrival, we must now face the end. Tell me, how does Iberia remember the great Captain Alfonso? Alfonso under the pomegranate tree. The hero Alfonso. The sunken Alfonso. There are many people who held on to the hope that the Stultifera never sank, but we weren't able to head out to sea. If you really are Lord Alfonso, you have become a paragon to countless Iberian soldiers. Huh. Pomegranate tree, huh? How pretentious. A flash of intense passion shimmers across the captain's eyes. Since the dark clouds and turbulent waves trapped them inside his cage, few things had ever stirred his heart. It's gotten weaker. I'll hold it back. Explosions? I thought the Originium boilers got knocked out of commission a long time ago, but the impact just now seems to have ignited the engine. The flames will spread upward. I've already wondered how these things taste flame-grilled. The heat makes the seaborne uncomfortable. It has become weak. Its kin are encircling it. It is unable to reach the sea. It screams, but its calls are not answered. No, kin are coming, closer. It can hear the voices of its kin. They speak. Die. Gladia does not hesitate. Skadian specters sever its body. It tries to regenerate, it tries to break free, but this time, Alfonso clings to its body in a death grip. He makes use of his already mutated arm. It feels its life force slipping away. It sees Spectre raise her weapon again. Goodbye, Amiya. Let's ride out the depth this time. Ooh, what is this location? Oh. I'm assuming a place where Spectre was found by Amiya? What? You want to talk to her again? What can that filth possibly say that's worth hearing? You don't understand, Quintus. You told me about her life in Aegir. So what? If you want knowledge, a herald can tell you far more. All we need to do is summon the voice of the deeps and you will be able to obtain anything you want. That's why I said you don't understand, Quintus. What I want to deconstruct, to witness, to caress, to break, has never been those cities. On land or in water, it's all the same. I want to hear about their lives, about the wonderful lives they once had, about how they built their society, about how they defended their home, about how they cannibalized each other, about how they met their destruction just like us. Like us? The people who defile Aegir are Aegirs like you. The people who defile Iberia are Iberians like me. The results of the experiment are already plain as day. If we still need more comparisons, she'll go mad and hate us. She'll hate us, and to be honest, I hate them too. Self-destructive soldiers, a self-righteous country, falling into a self-inflicted trap. But sometimes, you have to admit that we're more like them, more like humans than we are like Seaborn. We'll probably be fighting forever. It worked! Hey, Captain Alfonso, are you alright? Compared to my ship, not half bad. Are you really dead, Amiya? It can't be that easy, can it? Don't waste your breath on it. Louden. I'm here. I'm right here. Seems like our positions are reversed now, Amiya. Too bad for you, I've never been one for science experiments. Not in the slightest. Go ahead and die, you inferior evolution-crazed creature, and be forgotten. That should settle things. No. Seaborn, even more Seaborn are nearby. They're approaching. And this ship's about to go down. Even when my consciousness was hazy, I was still aware of how much effort it took for us to get here. Seems like we'll be running up against another wall. Did you get what you came for, Swordfish? Ulpianus took it. It's our fault that we failed to preserve the prototype technology on this ship, but that doesn't mean we came here in vain. Captain? Doesn't matter. Garcia already said that today is the last day of our voyage. For a long, long time, our will to survival has been slowly eaten away. First, our greatest enemies were anxiety, suspicion, uncertainty, and fear. But later, our emotions started drifting away from us. Longing for the ocean gnawed at our nerves, and one after another we forgot the glory of being a crew member of the Stultifera Navis. I watched them jump into the sea one by one, or I beheaded them before they could. I admit, that was a bit extreme. This long nightmare of survival has finally come to an end. Seawater is pouring into the ship. The sole place is being eaten by the Netherseas brand. Inquisitor, this technology here, those Originium boiler techniques, will they be useful to the current Iberia? Everything on the Stultifera is a precious national treasure. Ever since the profound silence, Iberia has had a large amount of islander technology that cannot be reproduced. And it's not just because we lost our fleet and our cities. Because of the judgment we passed on the Aegir, we lost so much of our talent too. Necessary. Even now, I don't think that a soft-hearted strategy full of kindness could have combated the Church of the Deep. If, today, we are forced to lose Stultifera Navi, the ship of fools, then I think it would be a heavy blow. But it's something that was doomed to happen from the start. Huh. Hogwash. State religion's always been like this. Aegirs. Take care of the Iberian. She can't swim back. That I can promise you. The explosions are getting worse. This side's leaning. We need to go, Scotty. Cut off a bit of the rafters above you. Harry? Irene? I know, but what about Alfonso? How far will the currents take us? Or are we going to go around in circles? Isn't this place on top of their nest? Regardless, looks like we're going to have to swim back. What? Go. Get the hell off my ship like I told you from the start. Just go. I'll stay here. This is my Iberia and the captain goes down with the ship. Alfonso slowly lowers himself into the throne. He closes his eyes. The warmth of the bright Iberian sun as it splashes at an angle across the deck. The aroma of a winery. The melody of his hometown. A damp and empty room. Freshly burgeoning petri dishes. The ocean's waves. The ocean he once knew. The warmth of Garcia's hand. Breogan's lonely countenance. Carmen's smile. His comrades' roars resonating through the sky. He opens his eyes and lets out a hearty laugh as everything is consumed by the flames. His laughter crosses through time until it reaches a small town of pomegranate flowers, where one can smell the sea upon the breeze and mingles with the first cries of a newborn child. Alfonso, that's what the people call him. He lifts his old rusty blade and places it against his neck. He prays. He laughs. Ha! What a joke. Remember this well, Irene. Return to land and sing the praises of Alfonso's feats. The last monster that Alfonso slew was himself. The ship breaks apart. The glow of the flame blankets a sea that had been silent for nearly 100 years. An era comes to an end. A legend passes into history. In the distance, the sun rises. Here sings the Stultifera, and with it, the long-cherished wishes of Iberia, nay, of all civilization. All succumbing to calamity. What's the matter? I think I heard a voice. No, it must be my old age. These things happen. Wrote Carmen. You're crying. Water? Right. The Stultifera sunk. I mean the ocean? The ocean is a dangerous place. It's dangerous, yes. I have to return to Iberia. Oh, it's... yeah, rip the ship. And so much cool technology on it. All lost into the abyss of the ocean. Water? Right. The Stultifera sank. I mean the ocean. The ocean is a dangerous place. It's dangerous. Yes, I have to return to Iberia. Glub, gurgle. Stop trying to breathe like that. Underwater breathing is beyond you. Most Aegires can't either. I want to say something in return, but of course I'm underwater and cannot. Despite trying to contain my instincts, I can't help but clutch at her clothes like a helpless child. But I can see it. The light reflected in her pupils. It comes from the bottom of the sea. Spectre does not say anything, but I can feel her arms trembling slightly around me. One of the Aegirian cities, it would seem. Or ruins thereof. That the Seaborn made their nest. Maybe because of the battle we just fought? Maybe, or something to do with the light? I'll bring you back up. Hang on tight. Glop. My vision blurs. So that's what the bottom of the ocean looks like. Then, is this Aegir? Oh, this motherfucker is still alive. The Seaborn quietly watches the distant flames disappearing beneath the waters. The ship sinks into the ocean, along with the flames, along with everything. Its kin answer its call. They all return to the many. Surrounded by the many's embrace, it takes only a moment for the dying to be given new life. Ishar, Mla, I will bring you all back home. Oh, hello. You're still alive. Let's all die together with Alfonso. The chief mate grips the Seaborn in its jaws and charges all the way into the seabed's murky darkness. Its lover, its memories, its identity. As its charge slows, its consciousness dissolves into the ocean. But still, it bites down on the Seaborn. The waters make you nostalgic. Swim and you will awaken. Accept it. You are one of we many. We have long awaited you. Oh, I am Garcia. I am Alfonsos. Then why did you stop swimming? Your signal is just like mine. Your wounds have all healed. You are accepting who you are. Oh, why no? The chief mate's consciousness is blurring. Is it biting down on the Seaborn, or is it leaping into the Seaborn's embrace, seeking its succor? It is forced to accept. The sea makes it very comfortable. The Seaborn's thoughts flood into its mind. Is it Garcia, chief mate of the Stultifera? No, it is a Seaborn. It is one of we many. Glub, sounds of bubbles being blown. Gurgle, sounds of bubbles popping. You will die a human being, Garcia. A step up from Amiya. Ulpianus, kin. Thank you. Ulpianus watches the two sink to the bottom of the ocean, seemingly locked in an embrace beyond death. Like flowers, growing side by side, they shrink and wither, and beyond a certain depth, they are carried away by the undercurrent. He does not lift his head until they are completely out of sight. Why? Gladia, you must heed my warnings.
あの人たちが逃げた方向は危ないです。いけない。今すぐ連れて帰ってきます。
Oh boy. Nameless Ocean. This part of the ocean may have had a name once, but that no longer matters. The premise for a name to be born is that something needs to be distinguished, but now, the ocean is the ocean. Penal Battalion Supply Depot. The Penal Battalion shows no weaknesses. The Penal Battalion shows no weakness. The Penal Battalion shall not yield. The Penal Battalion is Iberia's bastion, and even the terrible waves do nothing more than wash away any impurities. From this supply station, the soldiers stare at the Iberian soil, now swallowed by the ocean. Oh, I got a skin for Lancet too. That's cool. Bloodline of Combat Collection, a shore rescue modification. Lancet 2 was unexpectedly shot down into the water while aiding Aegir refugees off the coast of Iberia and remained afloat for 3 months until located and retrieved by a Rhodes Island search and rescue team. Gran Faro. Pack your bags and return to the starting point. The road ahead is still long. Observe. Gasp. Over here! Harry, grab my hand! A single, solitary boat. How far is it from the Eye of Iberia? How far is it from Gran Faro? Okay. Irene grabs onto his hand. There's no difference between the hand of an Aegir and that of a Liberi. Sorry, I'm not very strong. It's fine. I was scared out of my wits when I saw the ship explode in the distance. Are you all okay? As long as you're fine, Irene. Adjust your breathing. You know how to swim, right? Luckily for us, the waters are pretty calm right now. Gasp, gasp. Where are the others? I need to check on a few things. Just now, was that Aegir this close to us? Has the Stultifera been circling above an Aegir city this entire time? We might have been able to find a way in to check out the city on our own, but you never would have made it. Plus, the squad captain didn't seem keen on just going home happily ever after, and no way would there be a city this close to land. I don't remember anything like that. So, are you going to head back to that city? No. Gladia said this place is also seaborne territory. The city must be a refugee village. What? The Aegir you people call islanders are refugees from the collapse of the cities closest to land. We should go help them. There are still refugees in that city? Huh. I would not have expected. Two things. Ulpianus isn't dead, but he refused to work with us. And there are still others seaborne nearby, drawn here by that spirit of evolution. The entire swarm is extremely restless. We can use this opportunity to get back down there, but we wouldn't be able to leave. So, we finally found the city from our homeland, and now we're just going to turn around and leave. Gladia wordlessly glances at Skadi. She hides it well, just as she did herself in all those silent moments when she gently rubbed her neck. We don't have a choice. Why? There shouldn't be a city here. We should head back to the shore and regroup. Our duty is to defend Aegir, not to go home. How'd you manage this? Huh? Oh, are you talking to me? What do you mean? This ship is even more bare bones than ours was. And how did you find us? The sea is incredibly vast. I compared each of the signals from the Stultifera Navis to her location and discovered a pattern, so I thought it might be worth a shot. Worth a shot? What kind of deviation was there in that pattern? 200 to 300 nautical miles? That can't even be called a pattern. If you had bet wrong, you would have had... If you had bet wrong, you would have... Fuck. Ah. If you had bet wrong, you would have had slim to no chance of meeting up with us and died out at the sea on your own. You're a lunatic. Yes, but I wanted to ask a question, so please don't laugh at me, ma'am. I can't laugh anymore. Am I a great person? Your grandparents, your parents, 2 generations of grandfather gave everything they had for this blueprint. Their greatness should have been immortalized forever. Huh. I wouldn't go that far. Maybe a lucky one. Is that so? Maestro and my other colleagues in the Inquisition always held this belief. Only those who sacrifice themselves are worthy of the word great. In every moment where we're fighting for Iberia and struggling to survive, we are nothing more than ordinary people, striding forward with enormous responsibilities. And it's not that Inquisitors enjoy belittling ourselves. We've simply chosen to deal with Iberia in the harshest way possible, because at the moment we let our guards down, we will be undone.
But until then, as long as the will of man is enough to ignite this lantern, then I believe there isn't any difference between us. We're just like all those citizens struggling bitterly in their own ways. As long as we have goodwill to spare, they too are soldiers willing to lay down their lives for the restoration of their homeland. Just like the laborers of old Gran Faro. Jordi, luck won't be on your side forever. If you have a chance to contact the Inquisition again, what I mean is, if you want to work with us, you'll definitely have that opportunity. Well, I actually, just out of curiosity, I see you've brought back some of the Stultifera's timeless knowledge. Might you actually be... You managed to rescue 3 hunters in a single breath. As an Aegir, your actions might be worth a medal from the consul herself. Swimming back would have been very hard, and who knows what could happen right above their nest. I have no idea what compelled someone like you, born in Gran Faro, to go this far, but good job. On behalf of the Aegir and the Iberians. Then let's head back home. We're homeward bound from this Arctic ground. Out and free, and we don't give a damn as we drink our rum to the shores of old Maui. Rolling down to old Maui, me boys, rolling down to old Maui. Welcome back, hunters. And Irene, of course. The High Inquisitor, he... How did you know? We've already sorted through his relics, including those of our comrades who died beneath this lighthouse. We won't be able to deal with them properly until the Penal Battalion arrives, though. Slowly, sea terrors could not defeat High Inquisitor Dario, but in order to protect the Eye of Iberia, he chose to lay down his life to buy time. Inquisitors have no time to grieve, Irene. Dario had great expectations for you, and you must move forward. Yes, sir. However, his lantern remains intact, and I've placed it over there. Go now. Yes, sir. Seems like the Penal Battalion ran into some trouble. So much for the great naval power of Iberia. So the Stultifera Navis has sunk. This isn't quite the outcome we were expecting either. Indeed. Even for us, this is a significant setback. But we learned quite a few things, and... You found an Aegir city. Kelsey has already shared her conjecture with me, so perhaps you will wish to hear it too. The Inquisition has always believed in maintaining control. From Salviento to the Stultifera, we will gradually recapture the glory that rightfully belongs to Iberia. But we are forced to admit that, perhaps, even preserving the status quo is enough to stretch our forces thin. Madam Consul, what did you witness aboard that ship? This is his lantern, the High Inquisitor's lantern. Scorched black, thick with the stench of sea terrors. High Inquisitor, Maestro, I completed the Inquisition's mission. I found the Stultifera. Unfortunately, it ended up sinking, but aboard the ship, every single Iberian, in their own way, they were fighting until the very end. High Inquisitor, I now understand the significance of passing judgment. I understand the enemy we face. I will not hesitate, nor will I falter. For Iberia's prosperity, for Iberia's defense, and for Iberia's orderliness and integrity, I shall raise my sword and my light. Alfonso, No, this can't be 60 years. What torture is this? Even a criminal subjected to the harshest of punishment would not last for a year. But he... Carmen falls silent. He leans over and sits down on the reef. Sea terrors' carcasses are piled high into a mountain. There is no trace of the eldritch beasts, only the remaining tendrils of the Nedrisi brand retreating back to sea. The ocean's surface emits a pale blue light, usurping the sky's privilege. He should be enjoying this victory. He accomplished what the Inquisition set out to do. The Penal Battalion is about to arrive, and all things are about to reach a satisfactory conclusion. But he can only remain silent. Up until a steam whistle roars in the distance, the Penal Battalion has arrived at the Eye of Iberia.
You can see the corner of the town from here. If I remember right, it was called Reconstruction Hill. Thiago didn't pass peacefully, and I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but still, thank you all. Don't mention it. I don't mind dedicating a song to a hero at a solemn funeral. Seems like Frost is back. We'll head back to you in a little bit. What about you, Iberian? You've had a rough few days, haven't you? Gran Faro is Thiago's hometown, just as Aegir is home to all of you, as well as my Abyssal Hunter buddies. Maybe I joke around too much normally and forgot that Iberia is also my home. To be honest, this isn't cathartic at all. Wasn't that doctor going to help you out with something? You've been working for her, haven't you? No, that's already dealt with. That's why I'm willing to stay with Rhodes Island. That said, I didn't do a damn thing. I mean, it's not wrong. I guess he did do some things. He did appear in the story, but wasn't a significant contribution. Hurry, move the supplies into the warehouse. Huh? What about the number of tents? Did the old guy already explain it? Jordi, you're back. What? The Inquisition took away and actually let you come back? Where did you go? A bunch of people from the Penal Battalion took us away, but then brought us back into town. It seems like they're going to war with something, and now they want us setting up tents. Jeez, what's going to happen in Gran Faro? Oh, and have you seen Thiago? Jordi Fontana Rosa. Lord Carmen, sir, and Madame Inquisitor. We'd like to have a private chat with this Aegir. Of course, right away. Me? Come with me. Let's take a walk around town, shall we? Irene made up her mind on the way back. Made up her mind? About what? Originally, High Inquisitor Dario intended to entrust Irene to me, so that I could cultivate her until she was prepared for the seat of High Inquisitor. Okay, so she was already in the runnings for a High Inquisitor. That's cool. His death in battle was unexpected. Though the day would have come sooner or later, he did not have to accept his fate so soon. But Irene has made up her mind. She will give up her position as Inquisitor. Huh? Wait, what? Why? This is a decision I've come to after a lot of thought. It has nothing to do with you, though, so please just keep listening. Oh, okay. The problem is you, Aegir. You know too much, you're too deeply involved, and the Aegir in this town are too blasphemous. You've also been of great help. As frail and weak as you are, your death would have been but another grain of sand, but you have shown great strength. Even if it's nothing more than your own little spark, it is still valuable. I keep thinking, why am I still alive? I'm not as noble as... What does it say here? I'm not as noble as you, any of you. I'm not as noble as any of you or as resolute. Jordi, you will be the first Aegir to join the Inquisition. Hey! That's nice. Being recognized for his deeds. Will he be given a lantern and a sword, though? Huh? What? Me? Join the Inquisition? Strictly speaking, I won't give you a chance to refuse. Gran Faro needs more hands than ever, and you will play a pivotal role as an Aegir. After that, maybe I could use a young secretary. Wait, hold on, you want me to join the Inquisition? But I'm not sure if I want... I know you don't. Many members of the Inquisition hold deeply rooted prejudices against the Aegir, and wouldn't want you joining either. But don't you want to see it? The future that Iberia once promised to Gran Faro and to Thiago? Joining the Inquisition will be a test. As an Aegir, you wouldn't be wrong to treat it as a trial by fire, or as practice for enduring hardship. Don't get the wrong idea. I'll give it some thought. Then what about you, Doña Irene? Your maestro? My status as an Inquisitor hasn't done me any favors in my relationship with the Abyssal Hunters, or even the Aegir, so I get rid of it. But abandoning a faith that supported me to this day, especially after the untimely demise of my maestro, has not been an easy decision. Please, let's not talk about this now. Maybe if we meet again someday. I'm sorry. It's just... Irene looks at the sculpture at the plaza. A scaled-down version of the Eye of Iberia. In the chaos of battle, streets were torn up, houses were destroyed, and makeshift tents were erected. And the statue has always looked out over all of it. Even though our enemy is well beyond the reach of the law, Iberia must banish this blasphemy. Victory will be ours. Okay, so Irene is no longer an Inquisitor. Instead, Jordi is an Inquisitor. Some interesting changes being made to the Inquisition. Inquisition is evolving. Inquisition might be rejecting the notion of evolution in the seaborn sense, but they too evolve. Civilization is evolution, not on the scale of the seaborn, where all become one, but it still is evolution. Civilization means societies evolving. I owe you my gratitude, Frost. You helped Jordi as well as the hunters. Say no more. I was just a little workout. Those disobedient little rascals aren't the only ones who can change the direction of the tides. Next time, make sure you come cheer for us, though. Sure. Alrighty, I'm gonna go catch up with Aya and the others then. Stepped out a second and they went and ghosted me. Riffs with slight dissatisfaction. Oh, right, Kelsey. Since we came all this way, we can't just go back empty-handed. We can awaken whenever you're ready. I would say the same. Thank you very much. Maybe in time we really will be able to form a working partnership. So what was the role of them in this story? They appeared, played some music, talked a little, made everybody believe they are Ferranmuts. They probably are, and they're just disappearing? I have no clue. So this is the truth that Brogan discovered. Ferranmut and Leviathan, the connection between the two. If these massive creatures had disappeared from the ocean long ago, yet continued to survive and land in this form. Oh, so is it... Ferranmuts have their source in Leviathans? Is that what they're saying here? That Leviathans came first, then some of the Leviathans decided to go live on land, and those land-dwelling Leviathans are just called Ferranmuts? Huh. They're somehow the same. I guess maybe they're the same. They're both Ferranmuts, simply sea-dwelling Ferranmuts are called Leviathans, or in whichever direction it goes. If these massive creatures had disappeared from the ocean long ago, yet continued to survive and land in this form, they're not the same, Gladia. Gratian, Sargon, Sami, these places have all faced grave situations caused by Ferranmuts. But remember, the ocean as a catalyst of mutation is both unique and irreplaceable. Even I cannot comprehend its principles or its trajectory. All I can see are the results, and make deductions from that, and what I predict is a terrible, terrible future. Also, I'd imagine Brogan discovered more than one truth, and as you said, if there's another Abyssal Hunter still alive, there's more than one Leviathan. The one we slew is but a small part of what the Jaeger civilization concealed. Besides, the one you killed still lives on inside Skadi's body. Then my worst case scenario came true. You made the right choice not to return to Aegir. Yeah, I mean, Cal is countless years old. There's even a theory. I don't know if it's based on anything, if anything at all, that the Terra is essentially post-apocalyptic Earth. There are no humans, just all sorts of mutated creatures, bunny girls and demons and whatnot. And Kelsey is a pet cat from that past civilization that simply survived somehow and mutated into a humanoid form. Kind of a crack theory. But it would be interesting. Rhodes Island has already done enough for us. You have your own work ahead of you. As for what comes next, we will take that step ourselves. Rhodes Island has its responsibilities. Our most stellar operators will ensure that the organization continues running. But I have my own responsibilities across all these countless years. Time and again I have tried to resolve the problem facing Aegir, but it is far removed from the land, unique and without precedent. We can't wait any longer. The ocean's problem is of the same scale as Originium. If civilization is to continue, then we must overcome this calamity. Even as this world faces constant threats, divisions grow and wars ignite without cease, just as the name Stultifera Navis implies. Terra is certainly full of fools, both malicious and ignorant, but it is also full of saints who seek reason above madness and chaos. Now that you know the source of evolution, all of our conjectures have been verified. Aegir's cities are within reach, and even arrogant Iberia has emerged from its shell. Chief Designer of Warfare, let us begin. Whomst? Chief Designer of Warfare? Calm down, Rocinante.
Rocinante.
Where are we going?
The terrible waves are coming. We will defeat them. We are the terrible waves.
Terrible waves. As long as there is water in the ocean, a moon in the heavens, and wind in the sky, the waves will not abate. The enemy you see in your madness is truly too majestic.
Go! Yeah! I will not allow to see another ripple. Go!
And that's all, folks. No! Crossroads. No, it's just Crossroads. 100% completion, hell yeah. Backpack. Ship in a bottle. Nobody knows why a ship in a bottle was considered a souvenir, but the trend did indeed sweep through all of Iberia, and every child wanted their own Stultifera Navi in a bottle for their birthday. They would hold the bottle up and let sunlight filter through, sailing their imaginary ships through the sky towards the depths of the sea. But after the calamity, this trend quickly died down, and the scriptures soon occupied the spot on the nightstand once belonging to the ship in a bottle. It is not solely because of life's hardships. The ocean and the fleet became wounds that could never heal, each touch evoking feelings of disappointment, sorrow, and shame. The Grand Fleet had failed, and people paid little heed to the process. Perhaps only the people of a town like Gran Faro, which gathered those not yet disillusioned with the future, would regard this little ship in a bottle as a treasure. But in today's Gran Faro, would anyone? Three final silhouettes. Final note. Oh, I didn't read the descriptions of all of them. I think I stopped at Hunter x Hunter. Proof. How do we prove that there are still parts of us that can be considered human? By doing what only humans can do. Castigation. She knows what she is fighting against. This has nothing to do with the ancient texts or laws. In the name of survival, she brings castigation down upon another form of survival. A dance. Do not disturb the participants, for the ball is upon us, and such opportunities are infrequent. They have not gotten together for a long time and have much to talk about. Feed, nurture, and foster. Humans see sacrifice as a noble and eminent act. That is their limitation. Cremation. He stands amidst flames, not as a protector, for such vulgar praise only tarnishes him. He is proclaiming the existence of mankind. Silence. She gazes up at the graceful creature in front of him, he who descended from the starry sky. All the sounds in the world have been reduced to white noise. Final note. The shattered steel giant rattles and roars. Thus the flagship sings, taking an era along with it. Perhaps earlier, its final note would have been sounded by the people's sighs. Light of the Abyss. Beneath the abyss, the glowing city advances. That is their homeland. Stretch your fingertips an inch more and you will be able to touch everything that has passed. They can only leave. An extraordinary, ordinary person. How did this youth accomplish all that? He's not even a warrior, merely an ordinary person. He recognizes this point crystal clear, yet still made that decision. Escaping the Stultifera, returning to Gran Faro, and the last record, Song of Fools. Reflection in the mirror. Oh, that's something that we can still go through. Oh boy. Lost memory fragments. In his haze, he knew he had to make a decision. Perhaps he had already made it in the past, but now, both the result and even the choice itself have been long forgotten. Then, why not cast the dice again and see where the road leads, or if the road ended long ago? Investigate deeply. He decides to dig deeper. When the road ahead leads to certain doom, one may well return to a false possibility. Oh no, more combat. And what's the other thing? Dusty picture book. Preface. Upon opening the atlas covered with thick dust, you see a brief preface. The author claims to be but a poor soul far from home, whose name is insignificant, to record the life that he and his friends had experienced, and to keep the memories from drowning beneath the waves, he picked up the brush. Surprisingly, the atlas seems to be quite popular with children. There are doodles often visible in its pages margins. Perhaps the one who grew up on land are using everything in their hands to tirelessly search for their nebulous homeland called Aegir. For some reason, the pages in the atlas are shuffled and scattered. This story will have to be slowly reassembled. Scattered pages. Brogan has convinced us that Aegir has sunk into the quagmire of arrogance. Our cities are falling, our homes submerged in the abyss, but the consuls still believe in our imminent victory. No, we need to seek another path. We mustn't forget that though the ocean is vast, it is far from being the entire world. The land dwellers are weak and short-sighted, but the power of change may well dwell within them. They have been designed by the calamity of Reginium, yet have learned to harness its power. They have been besieged by the calamity of the Reginium, Brogan never promised that this place would have the answers. Aegir sought, but it is at least a new path. Brogan never promised that this place would have the answers Aegir sought, but it is at least a new path. I still remember the moment we first set foot on land. The sand beneath my feet was no different from Aegir, but that was the first time I really felt what it was like to be caressed by the wind. EX stages. Ah, screw it. Let's play some EX stages. SNS. I'm not gonna touch SNS then. I'm gonna go through the EX stage as far as I can, and we're gonna call it a stream.
行くぞドクター、ここっていい景色だねわあ、本気で行くよ
全員の行動力を奪う。それでいいだろう。
みんな戦いに集中して治療はまた呼吸を整え
Should have probably used the other berry, honestly.
無駄だ。
Why are you not getting damaged? There we go. Oh, another one. Great. Ah. Second berry.
救援招待みんな頑張って本気で行くよ
縁がユスティナがお前たちの相手にそいつらを逃がすな。
分かった。無駄だ。
Okay, this should about do the trick, I think.
本気で行くよみんな頑張って
1対1ここまでにしよう。お前たちじゃ私に勝てない。やめておいた方がいい。
治療法を見つけた
Okay, easy. First one was easy.
素晴らしく連携の取れた作戦行動であった。諸君、よくやった。
Let's try the second one. Waterlogged dream. These days I will occasionally dream of dazzling golden domes of my humid hometown. The place we landed is called Iberia, a country that is as wildly arrogant as it is backwards. It seems that pride is the common illness of all humanity, be it on land or at sea. We arrived along with Aegirian refugees fleeing disaster. The people on land have dubbed us islanders. However, everything on land was still a novelty to us, especially to Breogan, who never seemed anywhere near as excited when he was being called a genius back at the academy. There's never an idle day for him, as he leaves no stone unturned, no question unasked, and even quickly integrates with the locals. I really can't stand his complacent streak, what he's called the science of dealing with people. 2 days ago, he heard something from an old man that caught his interest, and immediately decided to set off on a journey. On a journey I have little hope for. We know too little about this land to make blind ventures. Alright, I guess I'll join his team after all. Hopefully we don't end up dead along the way. Ha ha ha! Funny you mentioned that. Whoever you might be. Wilderness journey and brown soil. Okay, I need to clear some Nethercy brand with Little Handy. Oof, what the fuck kind of a stage is that? Let's give it a shot, I guess. Let's give it a shot.
Hi. すぐに出発します。皆さん、どうかお気をつけて。また後ほどお会いしましょう。リンゴちゃん、今日もよろしくね。
Nope. Fuck. Shouldn't have used Lapider.
分かった。動き回るな。そうすればお互い手間が省けるだろう。
外中だ。
本気で行くよ。
Oh, okay, thankfully you can... Deployment is not limited. Clean that up, I guess. And clean even more.
諦めるな。
戦闘中に余計な言葉は不要だ。
リンゴちゃん、今日もよろしくね。
This seems a safe haven of sorts.
どんな苦境でもみんなと一緒に立ち向かうから。リンゴちゃん、今日もよろしくね。
火力で一気に制圧する。
治療法を見つけた。みんなこっち来て。
風がざわめいてる。
呼吸を整えてリラックスして。
ほら頑張れ。もうちょっとで僕に勝てるかもしれないよ。すぐに終わる。この
And okay, we're still alive.
こちらチェン、時間には限りがあるんだ。
戦闘中に余計な言葉は不
Barely.
要だ。
このままじゃダメです。早く傷口の処理をしないと。
Pallid snow. I have never felt water in this form before. Soft, cold, beautiful and deadly. And this requires 3 stars. How long has it been since we left that place? 5 years? 6? We have crossed the cities of Victoria, gazed out across the plains of Kazimierz, towered the Basilica of Laterano, and nearly perished in the snowfields of Ursus. Now we face Sargon's endless golden sands. Braugan is right. We are indeed approaching the truth. During our travels, we've briefly come into contact with several special beings, sometimes seen as prophets, messengers, or oracles. Feranmuts, I'm assuming. Yesterday, Braugan officially met with one of them. They had an extremely difficult-to-say name that they insisted we use. I hope I didn't mispronounce it. Braugan chatted with them for a good long while. Feranmuts, terrestrial creatures of mythic proportions and unparalleled power. Braugan is trying to come up with a hypothesis, but to be honest, I'm taking the wait-and-see approach. They do have some similarities with the terrible creatures we faced in the ocean, but they are also very different in other ways. I hope that hypothesis of his exists only to be falsified. Backpack. Picture book page shore. Braugan and his friends stood on the shore and looked back, as the billowing wind continued to blow, beneath which wave did Aegir city-state hide. Long journey. Trekking through the wilderness was hardly a pleasant experience for an Aegir, but Braugan still remembers the moment he first climbed atop the high plateau and saw the radiance of the twin moons spilling across the land. Dialogue. What is a fair price for ancient forbidden knowledge? Perhaps a pure heart is enough. Throwing in fine wine as a bonus might be even better. Also, the character in the middle, highlighted in gold, kind of looks like Dokuta. Very Dokuta looking. Is Dokuta a Feranmut? Okay, completed the logs. That's something. Proxy. That's EX3, Throbbing Heart. It's locked. Okay. EX3 then. This seems maybe simpler. Not allowing more than 2 operators be affected by Nethercy brand. That might be problematic, but we'll try. Next 3 proxy. Where are you gonna go? Maybe here? Yeah, they aren't ranged, so they're gonna leave her alone. Oh, I have those things, roadblocks. And they're attacking my Lappy. That's no bueno. Why do you have global range? What the fuck? Why do you have global attack range? How am I supposed to counteract that? If I can't even... Can you take them down? Okay, we're ending the stream here. Okay, I'm gonna give it one more shot. I guess they can attack globally anybody who's on the Nethercy brand. Maybe that's the deal? If so, then I should maybe open with Babura. She can reflect some of the damage. Now a healer. And a second healer. And a third one. Lappy. And I'm gonna take Thorns away so that there isn't a third operator with the brand.
僕に勝てるかもしれないよ。
いいよ、じっと立っててね。
Okay, Bubble is a godsend here.
この程度で止ま
Bubble
る
and
と思う。
Hoshiguma. Because Hoshi can also reflect the damage.
みんな頑張って。
I guess I can place thorns here.
それでいいだろう。
僕に任せてトゲトゲ
Bubble damage reflect is what killed them. That's great.
結果さえ伴うならちょっと苦労するのも悪くないね。
I can feel the excitement in each and every one of us. We are about to face a cornerstone of the truth. These flames blaze more passionately than any I have felt before, perhaps because my partner in this conversation is that extraordinary. We've returned to Iberia once more. Over a decade has passed and the country doesn't seem to have changed much, but the number of islanders has only increased. It seems the situation in Aegir is looking bleak. I am starting to feel homesick, not knowing if my city still stands. Breogans met with a few friends in Iberia, a cleric named Carmen and a naval officer named Alfonso. They get together almost every day to discuss some, grand plans. Okay, so they were all buddies. That's a cool detail. He really is far too good at dealing with people, or perhaps I'm too much of a hermit who prefers the company of a paintbrush. Breogan told me that his predictions are getting better by the day, and that he's found a way to integrate Aegir technology with Originian and simply needs an opportunity to put it into practice. For example, being appointed as Chief Naval Architect of Iberia. Grand Palace, King's Arrogance, and no more than 3 operators affected by Nethership Brand. What's it look like? Easy-ish, I think. Maybe, possibly, hopefully. I think I'm gonna swap out Kelsey for some ranged operator. Who though? Kiera.
あ
Why
ら、
not? I like
私
Kiera.
が率いなくてもいいの、ドクター。
Snacks for.
身だしなみを整えて整列出発。
時間をかけるつもりよ。
本気で行くよ。悪い人に立ち向かうぞ。
お前の攻撃は想定の通りだ。
みんなこっち来て。救援準備を始めます。
Berry.
ステージに到達。
Fuck.
あと少し。
Jesus.
呼吸を整えて。
That is a lot of them. Hmm.
諦めるのはまだ早い。ドクター、ここは私一人に任せてほしい。部隊の立て直しはあなたに頼む。
Oh, new thing in the backpack. Ordination. When everyone has their needs met, no one will take advantage of others. Brogan has always subscribed to this philosophy. Perhaps there is some science behind this form of exchange. And the addition to the logs. Final token for Lumen. Some gel. And I think I'm gonna stop the stream here.
有意義な一日になるといいわね、ドクター。
I'm gonna farm some of the event currency. We got through the story, which is what I wanted to do. That was my primary goal here, to get through the main story. I was afraid I'm gonna be stuck at SN10 or something, but no, thankfully SN10 2 stars, but somehow was completed. The event ends in just under 24 hours, so maybe if I have the time, I'll stream it again tomorrow. Probably not, though. Although again, we'll see. We'll see. Right now, I'm gonna go to the Misty Silhouette. Which one? This one. We're gonna end with the view of Irene being an absolute and utter badass. And with Iberia song. So, that's gonna be it from me for today. Leave a comment down below. What did you think of it? Did you like it? Did you not? Discuss Arknights lore if you want. If not in the comments, then you can do that on my Discord server. It's open to everybody, so just join it. There's a link in the description and on screen. And discuss not only Arknights but also other gachas and other things in general. Like this video if you liked it. Dislike it if you disliked it. Tell me why so I can improve. Subscribe to the channel to be notified of future releases of not only gacha streams, but I also do anime reactions, including the Arknights anime every Friday. I try to release that. So if you're interested in my reaction and my commentary to those, subscribe and check them out. And also other things like Symphogear, Axis currently, Gundam Witch from Mercury, Tensei Shitaraken Deshita, Management of a Novice Alchemist, and some other things that will be coming in the future and might be coming soon-ish. We'll see all about that. Nothing is certain because my work schedule is gonna be changing again very, very soon. What's next? Support me if you want monetarily. Patreon throne links in the description below. On Patreon for $10 a month, get early access to non-seasonal commentaries like Symphogear, like Madoka Magica, the Rebellion movie I'm gonna be watching soon-ish. And on Throne you can pitch in directly towards my purchase of better light, better camera, stuff like that. And if you don't want to spend any money, share my content, spread the word. It does help the channel a whole lot, so I'm grateful if you decide to do that. And with that, that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers!